This is for the players. For those that leap into battle in the blink of an eye. For the drivers that compete for their club, no matter where they are. For everyone who has triumphs, tips and tricks to share.
And for those who love to play with complete freedom, this is for the game changers, the innovators. This is for the players. This is PS4.
It's a whole new game. See the PlayStation 4 Victory League live.
We good? Coming at you live from Darcy Street on Good Friday. Yes, it's a Good Friday, but hopefully after this match it will become a great Friday, because I think we're in for a humdinger here at Darcy Street. It's South Hobart, the reigning champs, up against the Summer Cup champions in Olympia FC Warriors on the place they like to call the Theatre of Dreams. It's looking very, very nice here in the heart of South Hobart. The crowd's building. I'm excited, and I've got the Drooster Rooster next to me, Andrew Cooling on the right. Someone that fans are really flocking behind in terms of the vocal cords. They love the dulcet tones of the Drooster. And you're back again, Drew, and it's just wonderful to have your company today for, as I said, what should be a humdinger of a clash.
Yes, thank you, Damien. Very excited to be here for, as you said, what should be an absolute cracking encounter between two big teams. And despite being only the third week of the season, the stakes very high with Zebras taking 6 points from their first two matches. You wouldn't want to fall too far behind early on, because you can't win the league early in the season, but you can certainly lose it. And a 1-2 start for either of these teams would certainly have the pressure on. So very high stakes here. It's very hard to separate these two teams. It's going to be an absolute cracker and a beautiful day here at Darcy Street. Really a lovely old style ground and a beautiful day. Clear skies. Very excited to be here, Damien.
As you said, Drewster, you don't lose the league at the early part of the you don't win the league, rather, but you can lose it. And what we're seeing here is a very interesting looking Victory League table after just 2 rounds. Hobart Jeep Zebras, of course, have played probably the two top teams outside of themselves in the two teams we're seeing today, Olympia and South Hobart, and they've taken the chocolates both times. They're sitting pretty up the top. Kingborough with them, a bit of a surprise packet there, but they've had a rather soft draw. But then we see South Hobart, Glenorchy Knights and Olympia, the next block. So if Olympia or South Hobart go down today, they fall off the pace a little, and it could mean quite a bit for them in terms of the title race as the season ticks on.
Yeah, absolutely, and I know both managers are very keen to get a win today, and I think that's why we'll see a positive attacking game, because both teams really will be going for all 3 points. So I think we can expect really both teams to go at it quite hard and push for goals, so I do expect goals in this game. And plenty of firepower for both sides, absolutely no shortage of that, that's for sure. We've got the team sheets coming in now, do we, David?
We do indeed, as we can talk you through the starting lineups. South Hobart, first of all, you talked about firepower. Well, firepower starts and ends with Alex Lozinski, as far as I'm concerned. He's an absolute brute force up top for South Hobart. He's starting We've got Alex Walter with we'll have to double check that. I'm not 100% sure if he's starting. We'll double check. We'll see the Alex Walter is starting. So that's an interesting one. Walter in the starting lineup. They've sort of been drip feeding him into the contest in recent weeks, but when he's come on, he's had a massive impact, and he has that turn and burst of pace that I think can really electrify that South Hobart midfield three. Chris Downs also alongside him in midfield, so another young midfielder. We've got Braden Mann up top. We saw what he could do last week. A hat-trick, best on ground performance. He collected the slice of cheese stubby, and he was just awesome away from home at Valley Road. A big part of their win there. Chris Hunt, also a big part of their win at Valley Road. Got himself back into a bit of form, I think, Hunt. He was playing as a sort of tucked-in left winger, but he was roaming about doing what he pleased, essentially, taking it from the midfield and building up their attacks. Really liked his work last week. Another one I like, Connor Schmidt at full back. He had a really good debut up against Hobart Jeep Zebras, although going down and losing effort. And then last week, he was superb. He shut down Turtle Holden, who's a dangerous winger for Devonport, and he rocketed in a beauty of a strike in a big win for them. Then you got Dogger Brown, who's just solid as a rock back there. Big, tall, physical presence for South Hobart. Cool, calm, collected Joey Stevens, ice running through his veins. So calm, it's scary. You actually go to panic when someone's closing in on him, and he just turns like there's nothing there. Has a bit of swagger to him. And then you got Kane Pearce in goal. He's a superb shot stopper. Everyone knows Pearce's quality. It says Quayle, but I don't think it's Quayle starting. I actually think he's come out of the lineup, so there's a correction there. It's Hugh Ludford into the lineup in place of Quayle. So the skipper's back, and also Matt Lewis in that back four, who had a really good game in central defence last week. You'd probably expect to see him switch back out to a full-back position, but we'll wait and see with bated breath there. On the bench, here's an important one, Drewster. Ben Hammertime Hamlet, the Hammer. A couple of years ago, it looked like Olympia might just snatch a point from the Theatre of Dreams, Darcy Street. But on comes Ben Hammertime Hamlet. He was as red as a beetroot as soon as he walked onto the pitch, and he rose high and head one home, took his shirt off, went nuts. But one for South Hobart that day, and that's someone that they're really going to have to keep a close eye on when he comes on off the bench. They've also got Darcy Hall, who's a talented young winger, Harrison Thomas and Kobe Kemp, both young midfielders with a lot of promise, and Mark Moncur, who's not young but a champion of a bloke, and did a great job for them when called upon. Onto the Warriors. We'll have to double-check their lineups as well. There's been a couple of changes there. It says Swagger Bellini starting. He's on the pine. But we do have Alex Holmes starting the skipper. Manuel Sekiris, who's really lifted his output this season, I think, since Neymar's come along. He sort of felt the need to lift his game, which is good for Glenn McNeil. Harry Woolley at fullback. We got Jake Vandermeer, John O'Griffiths, Luke Isles, who's been a real revelation at Warrior Park. He's been superb for them. Then we've got Nick Mearns, who's just a real solid midfielder, does a real good job for them, and he will work alongside Shay Hickey, who's a big cog in the machine that is Olympia, and they'll be looking for big things, and I reckon he'll be looking for big things. Back on the ground, he played a lot of his football out in Darcy Street. You got Sean Lewis in between the sticks, a very solid US gloveman, and Warren Wadawa, who is always has an impact, whether it's with a late challenge or with a goal to get his team going. On the pine for the Warriors. So in place of Alessandro Bellini, here's the big news. In comes Neymar for his first start of the season. I'd expect to see him line up in the exact same role Bellini was in. Number 10 role, looking to pull the strings moving forward for Olympia. On the pine for them, they've got the lettuce farmer, Nick Meredith, Dimitri Nestor, Alessandro Bellini, so the swagger is on the bench, and Christian DiMartino. They're in reserve, as well as James Ackley. So that's the team for Olympia, of course coached by Glenn McNeil. Glenn McNeil will be out for points. I don't think he's collected too many points against South Hobart in his time. They certainly haven't collected points off South Hobart in the Victory League, so if they can do it today, it'd be a real monkey off the back.
It certainly would, and both teams just going through their final preparations here. We're almost ready for kick-off at Darcy Straits. those team lineups. The thing that really shines through there is the sheer amount of attacking talent on the park. And there really should be goals in this game. And despite all the big attacking names, the goalkeepers may well be quite busy this afternoon, because it's certainly going to be free-flowing football, I would assume. Kane Pearce down there, not really giving too much effort in the warm-up. He's a fine keeper, and he certainly knows he's probably in for a busy afternoon, as is the American import for the Warriors. So your tip today, Damien, a 1-1 draw, I believe. I also got quite a few splinters, sitting on the fence firmly with 2-2. So I'll happily join you on the fence. I do find these two sides very hard to split, and really just looking for an entertaining game of football here at Darcy Street this afternoon.
Yeah, I found it really hard to pick either way. I couldn't decide who gets a nice visit from the Easter Bunny and takes home the chocolates. I just couldn't pick it. So I've gone with the draw 1-1. You've gone 2-2. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. And interesting to see where the bookies see it, Drewster. TatsBet have it pegged at South Hobart. Pretty handsome favourites at $1.35. The draw at $5. And Olympia FC Warriors at a whopping $5.50. They're both coming in with the same record. Pretty well identical up until this point. Olympia won the Summer Cup. I think that's pretty harsh from the bookies, but I guess history tells a pretty fair tale as far as these two teams are concerned.
Yeah, no doubt those odds very much influenced by previous seasons, but look, if I were a betting man, I'd certainly be tempted by the $5 for the draw or $5.50 for Olympia. Away from home, sure, but just think South's a little bit too short for what we've seen from this season. That said, 6 goals last week, did bounce back to form quite nicely. And we've just had a tweet in from a favourite here at Slice of Cheese, Trent Cornish, who's called 3-0. So he's joining myself and Damien on the fence. If you do have any predictions, feel free to tweet at FootballFedTaz, and we'll give you a little shout out there. But the referee's just about to lead the players onto the field. We're about set for action here at Darcy Street. The sun is out. Could not ask for better conditions for football. Very excited for this one, as it's Olympia taking on South Hobart.
It's a pretty strong crowd building as well, and I said it to you before, Drew, so what else do you do on your on a Good Friday? There's not a lot to do apart from eat a fish finger and sit at home, or come out here and enjoy a good game of football. And yeah, as Corn Dog, you also missed his nice little bit at the end of it, Albie / who he calls Klim, to be the Easter Bunny with a brace. Don't mind it. I picked him as my 5-star. 5-star for Olympia. So we get a bit of Thunderstruck echoing throughout the Theatre of Dreams, Darcy Street. Yeah, I think Luke Isles has to be a real 5-star for Olympia if they're to do anything today. He's just a player of such talent. He probably had his colours lowered against the Zebras. Just needs to get going today. Another one, of course, is Shea Hickey against his old club. He'll have a point to prove. And if they can get on top in midfield and just contain that dangerous South Hobart attacking pack, they're every sniff today. They're certainly not $5.50 for a win.
Yeah, well, we certainly saw in week one South's getting overwhelmed in midfield in the second half, and it really did leave their defence exposed. So Shea Hickey certainly, a key linchpin, and obviously Neymar playing that number 10 role will be looking to cause havoc for them. And if they can get on top on midfield, they have every chance to win this one. South, slightly less experienced midfield than previous seasons. Still a very talented one, though, and they certainly have the ability to get on top. And if they can be the ones, then we've obviously Lazinski, Mann, Hunt. They've got creative weapons up top that can do plenty of damage themselves. So Thunderstruck just finishing up here. The crowd getting pumped up here to the tunes of Akadako on this Good Friday at Darcy Street. It's just about full here in the stand. It's been slowly building, and we're just about in readiness for kickoff here. The captains Holmes and Ludford shaking hands, and we are just about set. Hand over to Damien to kick off proceedings here on Good Friday.
Tell you what, there's a real buzz about the place. There's a great atmosphere. I'm looking forward to this clash a lot. As both teams get in the huddle, Corn Dog continues to pepper us on Twitter. He has Wadawu as $1.33 to kick a keeper. Maybe a little bit harsh on the great man. I think Wadawu is often a polarising figure, depending on what side of the fence you sit on. But he's someone for Olympia as well. If he gets enough of the ball in dangerous areas, he can certainly get them into this contest. Neymar on his first start's a key one for me to watch. I think both number 10s in terms of, depending on where Walter plays, he and Neymar are a key players to watch in this one. We're not far from kicking off. South Hobart shooting over towards the old Cascade Hotel end and over the houses. Go Olympia, and we're underway here at Darcy Street. Downs switches out for Schmidt. And it's Dogger Brown who rifles forward off the head of Vandermeer and then helped further by Mearns. Neymar gets an early touchdown for Isles. He gets moving, puts it out in front of Sakiris. Pearce goes out to it. Oh, Sakiris meets it well. It's a glorious opportunity for the striker, but he puts it wide. Good start from Olympia, just inside the first 30 seconds here. As we'll see the replay, Isles got on a bit of a burst. Put it out in front of Sakiris. He beat both defenders to it and Pearce, but just the wrong side of the left upright and out of play. And South Hobart escape a nervy early moment.
Yeah, I was just drawing 3 to him, then splitting the centre halves in half with a lovely pass. Pearce just doing enough to get out and put Sakiris off that shot, but certainly an early warning there for Souths. Pearce with it now, and they'll look to just get a bit of possession and settle down. Certainly a nervous start. So we've got Lumford coming down, and he'll just hoof it long up towards man, but Holmes able to head that one away quite easily. Stevens battling away in midfield, and Hunt tracking back there does well. The Souths will just come down, switch it out now to the right. Passing back, Schmidt playing right back. Obviously played capable at either fullback position, Schmidt. Very impressive young player. Olympia now looking to build. Dangerous play here, but well defended in the end again from Connor Schmidt, just snuffing out that chance. And yeah, just very excited atmosphere program. Just got a little bit quiet here. South's just a little bit stunned by the start, but they've settled it down nicely, and that one's going to be easily cleared by the keeper. He'll just thump that one along up there. Aerial duel is well won by Schmidt, I should say. Olympia just passed it back to the keeper again, so both teams patient. That's well closed down by Man, and in the end he's done well to get it out to his fullback. He's with Dawu. Here is the man, Neymar. What can he do with his first play? It's a beautiful ball from Neymar to Wadawu, who's just played it straight to Pearce. He had Sakiris unmarked in the middle and really should have done better there. Some brilliant play again there from Neymar, though, who's showing some early thrush. That's a cracking ball to Man, and he's put it wide. So the chances flowing early on here at Darcy Street. Either team able to take one, but certainly no shortage of chances in the opening minutes here.
Yeah, Wadawu probably should have done better with that one. I think it was a little bit too cute, trying to almost uncork a genie with that. As it's pumped long from Lewis. Off the head of Wadawu, and Ludford will mop up with a little help from Pearce. He doesn't muck around with it, drives long, looking for Man. He's not beating Holmes in the air anytime soon. Downs wins. Taken from Mearns, down to Wadawu. Good start early, good signs from Olympia as Hickey gets on the ball here. Plays back for the skipper, the cuddler, Holmesy. To Mearns, moves it well to Wadawu, to Woolley. We still can't work out his haircut. Plays it forward. Sakiris gives back to Wadawu. They're holding the ball well here, Olympia, something they love to do. It's how they'll dominate the contest. As it's put wide from Hickey. Can't quite pick out Woolley, who was moving well, but signs are good for the Warriors and Glenn McNeil. They're just inside the fourth now as it's thrown forward by Lewis. Lewis operating on the left side, not something you generally see him doing, but it's interesting to see as Schmidt robs it off Isles, gets racing, plays to Lazinski from the top of the D. He smashes wide to the left.
Yeah, again, just lack of polish there on the finish, but Schmidt playing right back again, creating nicely, very much a two-way player. Certainly capable of joining in on attack, playing right back. And as you mentioned, Matthew Lewis now playing in his third position in 3 weeks to start the Victory League season. So some versatility there, always a useful trait for a manager. And he wins the ball to Hunt here, and Woolley gets in the back of Hunt a little bit, but off his head and out of play. Throw to Olympia as Woolley seeks out Neymar with a throw, and he flicks it on. Ludford with a hand there, ball to hand though. And, dancing on the ball, plays it into Wadzawu, but nothing doing there. They'll thump it long towards Mann, who holds it up now. They'll join in the attack. They've got numbers going for that. Some beautiful work there, and he plays in Lazinski. He cuts it back and again, and he hits it. Just wide. Once again there, it's Walter. Looming large, really getting involved. Both number 10s having plenty of influence on this contest early, you'd have to say, both creating chances for their sides.
We'll have to have a close look up at how South Hobart are exactly setting up, Drewy. It's an interesting formation. I think they're going for a bit of a diamond. As it's played out from Lewis, he picks out Griffiths. Through now for Isles. He's got Schmidt hot on his heels. Skies it back to Moons. He gets it to Neymar. Bodied up by Dogger Brown, and it's a pretty clear-cut foul there, and it'll be Olympia's free kick. Vandermeer just looks to steady the ship.
So Olympia with a free kick. They'll just play it in short there to Shea Hickey, returning to his former haunt here at Darcy Street, and Hunt cutting it out, but only as far as Neymar, who shifts it out wide right to Woolley. Hunt tracking back. Couldn't shut him down. Woolley again plays it in. A teasing ball, but well cut out by Brown, and he just thumps it along and gets it out there. Well taken down by Mann, but lacked any real support, and that's easily dealt with there by Hickey, cutting it out well. He wins another ball. And good play again here from Walter. Plays it in, looking for Mann. He's in behind. Holmes across to deal with him. What can he do? He looks to cross it in and wins the first corner of the game for his side. So very free-flowing football here at the moment. Not getting bogged down in midfield. Very much an end-to-end contest, and a chance here for Souths from the set piece.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's been opportunities galore early in this one. We're only, freshly ticked into the 7th minute, and there's plenty going on at both ends. Great to see. It's exactly what you hope would happen when these two teams meet. Is played in, eludes the head of Lazinski, nodded away by Woolley, comes back and Neymar wins it away from Downs. Plays forward looking for Sekiris. He's got a lot of work to do. Up against Ludford, a really strange challenge in the end. He was never getting anywhere near the ball, but he just chopped down Ludford, and it's a free kick for South Hobart. But to be fair to Sekiris, he was rather isolated up top. It'll be Downs over this one. He's their set piece man. Plays long, and Lewis collects at the edge of his 6-yard box. Through now for Isles. He puts it out in front of Griffiths. He tries to tow a delicate one, looking for Sekiris. Seen away by Sekiris' former teammate and Lewis. Down the right channel, he finds Mann, who's been buzzing about all over the place. Plays through Lazinski, turns around. Can't quite get it past Shea Hickey, who wins, but loses straight away to cool, calm, collected Joey Stevens. True to his name, very coolly puts it out on the right-hand side, looking for a bit of work from Walter, and unfortunately Vandermeer sees it out, and it's out for a South Hobart throw. Walter had an early impact, that's for sure. There's a good turn of pace on him as he throws it in along the byline, and Vandermeer, no nonsense, puts it straight out.
Yeah, second corner of the game here for Souths, pressing early on, just starting to get on top after some early pressure from Olympia, and it's going to be the wrecking ball, Rexy Hunt, who wanders over to the corner flag to whip this one in. The defenders all getting forward. Lewis sneaking forward the near post. Lazinski in behind him. Hunt with a teasing ball, and it's headed over the top for a man. It wasn't far away. It was a good delivery from Hunt, and rising highest was Mann, but just couldn't quite get over it. And his effort over the bar, but a warning shot there for Olympia. Needs to be marking a bit tighter on the corners as Souths come quite close to opening the scoring here on a lovely day at Darcy Street. Good Friday football in the PS4 Victory League. As Wadzawu gathers the ball, plays it back to Hickey, who flicks it on looking for Woolley, but just runs out of space. It'll be a throw into South. Lewis to take it from the left full-back position. So Lewis looking for Lazinski, and in the end it's flicked on. Last man was definitely Olympia, so Woolley want to play it back, and he does to Lewis. He'll just look to thump it long, and flicked on nicely, but Brown getting back as Olympia Battling here is Stevens with a good leg in, but can't retain possession. Just a little bogged out in midfield, and that's a bit of a nothing ball really in the end there from Griffiths. And hands on his head knows that that's not going to help his team score. The South will take over here at the back.
Couple of tweets in already. Rude lid and goatee from Manny, coming in from Paris Crow. There is a bit going on with it, it's fair to say. Reckon McNeil is more than worried about the way South Hobart Mids are being allowed to move the ball so freely as they do so. And Mann tries an early shot. It's to test Lewis, but he's up to that one. Another shot from South Hobart. They've had quite a few now as I look to update our tally. As it's played down the left-hand side. Isles looks to put it into the danger zone. Comes to Wadawu and he blazes away. A glorious chance to open this one. Oh, he's hit it first time and he's squandered a golden opportunity. Isles kept alive the ball. It was a good ball in the end. Came to Wadawu in all sorts of time and space at the back post. He smashed it first time. And I've got to say, that's a shocker. That is a real opportunity going begging for Olympia, and Glenn McNeil, if he had much hair, he'd be tearing it out.
Yeah, he certainly would. You expect your forwards to finish chances like that. That was an absolute golden chance there for Wadawu. Unmarked at the back post. It fell to him and he just blazed it over the top. He got to do better, but we won't dwell as Lizitsky now coming forward for Souths. He'll switch it out looking for Mann, who's been busy, but well won by Woolley. Bartis going to come right back at them as Hunt is going to get there first. Oh, great challenge in the end, though, by Shea Hickey against his former team, doing well. He plays it into Wadawu. He's just running with the ball here, and he plays a bit of nothing pass, really, that's cut out. Poor couple of minutes here for Wadawu. Lazinski taking over. He plays it back now. South, that's a fantastic ball, stumbling, but he regains his composure. Cuts it back to Mann, but he didn't make enough contact. Oh, and that was a good chance. He just lost his footing there as he went to take the shot. And both teams with great chances here early on. The man who's been fantastic early. Probably wish he had that one again. Just lost his footing at the crucial moment as South's looking to rebuild now. There's Joey Stevens on the ball. And he'll play all the way back to Pearce and set him a bit of a task. Pearce, cool and composed to Ludford. He in turn will pass it to Brown. Brown somehow kept it in, but Walter's unable to do so, and Olympia will take over.
Yeah, I tell you what, there's a fair bit going on here. Someone asks again what's going on with the hair of Annie Zakiris, a few interested punters out there. So he plays it back to his keeper, but it's pretty well lived up to the hype so far, this contest. It's been great. A packed stand piling in to see what is a mouthwatering clash on paper, and it's looking that way so far as Lewis ships it up the park, finds Isles. He beats Schmidt. Now he's got Brown to contend with. Can't beat him as Brown sees it out. And Copra rules it's off Isles last, so it'll be a South Hobart throw. The Isles looks to be the real fire starter for Olympia on that left-hand side. He's looking the goods out there. He's got good turn of speed and a bit of trickery in his arsenal, and it's it should have set up an opener. If Wadawu had finished off, it would have been a really good start for Olympia as it's thrown down the line from Schmidt. Looking for Walter. He battles well with Griffiths, but Griffiths does enough to see to Hickey. Receives back from Hickey. Down the line to Isles. And seen out from Downs for a Olympia throw on the far side. Beautiful day for football here at Darcy Street. As we said, a strong crowd in. Throwing now from Griffiths, long and strong over the head of Schmidt. Bobbles out off the boot of Brown, and it's back now for a Isles throw. Looks for Neymar, receives back, can't quite got it back and return the favour. Brown straight away gifts it straight to Hickey. Hickey has two bites of the cherry and gets it to Mearns, who spreads wide for Woolley. It's a heavy ball, but Woolley does well to race it down. Plays in now, and it's off the head of Wadawu and wide out for a Kane Pearce goal kick. We're into the 15th here at Darcy Street, still 0-0 between these two title hopefuls.
Yeah, some good work early on here from Woolley. He's getting forward. Obviously, the tough job of marking Hunt today, and Lewis also likes to get forward, but Woolley really getting forward and causing a few problems. But He's certainly got his work cut out for him down that right flank. Righto. You know, probably know the commentary box set up here rather than sitting in the stand. We do get a few people wandering through, but play on, and Olympia will do just that as they look to regain composure in midfield. It's Kemp, thumping it forward, looking for the dangerous Neymar, but Brown is there to cut it out, and Schmidt will just thump it long, and Lazinski and Holmes in a foot race. Holmes always leading, and he's not put a foot wrong so far as he heads back to Lewis, who will get things going, finding Shea Hickey. He passes well there to Kemp, back to Hickey. They switch it out to the left. Certainly a focus on playing down the left, and with Isles out on that side, why not? Well cut out by Hunt, but straight back to Olympia, and Lewis rises well to clear any danger. Stevens on the ball, and no foul, says the referee. Play on as that ball is played in, and sneaking in behind is Neymar, but Pearce just gets there first with another dangerous moment there at the back. The pace giving a few problems to the South Hobart centre halves, you'd have to say, early on. Woolley with a throw in now. He'll look to find Wadawu, but Lewis deals with him very comfortably, but his pass is poor, and it goes straight to Woolley, and Hunt closes that down well. South just probing down this right-hand side, just starting to get back on top in this game after just South having a good passage there. It's been a seesawing contest so far, which is what we like to see. That's a bit of a nothing pass, really, and that'll be easily cut out there. As Hickey on the ball. Real battle going on between Hickey and Downs in midfield. Has been good to watch so far. Two very hard-out customers. Isles with a good ball, but offside was Neymar. The flag is raised. And it's still 0-0 here as we tick past 16 minutes at Darcy Street. Good Friday football.
There's the offside there of Neymar. It's been a pretty even contest, you got to say, so far. As we get a tweet in from Callum Pask. He said, chances going begging, both wish they would have done better with those ones as it comes through. Almost for Neymar, and Ludford just cannons it forward. Finds Walter, dinks along past Griffiths and goes back to the sanctuary of Dogger Brown. He's doesn't want to get in a foot race with Neymar. Neymar robs it. It's a horrible foul from Dan Brown. Has to go in the book for that one. Slice of cheese. Take that home. That was an absolute shocker. As we see there, Brown looks to turn away from Neymar. Probably not his best option. Neymar robs it off him, as we'll see. And Brown just goes, right, I might just tackle you here. Aussie rule style. And he enters the book. 18 minutes gone.
Yeah, pretty clear professional foul there, but credit to Sekiris in the middle there, who bursting run down the middle kind of took away the pass that Brown wanted to make, and in the end forced that rather suspect challenge. He knew exactly what he was doing, mind you, as the ball is played in, and a bit of a chaos ball, but well dealt with by Brown, who will thump it out. And Woolley back there will go back to Lewis. Lewis to Van der Meij. Plays it out to Hickey, who's been busy, but it's a poor pass from Van der Meij. Sold him very short there. And Lewis with the throw now. Wanted to throw to Hunt, but he was well marked, so goes to Lazinski instead. And Wadawu intercepting there. Neymar now with a bit of space, but Stevens closing him down. A poor pass, and well read though by Huey Ludford. Commanding as ever at the back. It's Wadawu now. There's a couple to deal with. He checks back. Going to Hickey. Hickey with ball cut out by Lewis. Lazinski to Hunt. Now man, South's looking to build, but well pressured by Hickey. And as far as Walter, but he too turns it over. And the game just started to get a bit scrappy here. Both teams looking to close down. Certainly McNeil very vocal on the sidelines at the moment. We have turnovers, a good contest there. Might fall for... No, Kano out, well off his line, well read. Very good reader of the game is Pearce. Stevens with it now. And gets round one with a nice piece of skill, and then he plays it forward looking for Mann. Van der Meij back. And that's a poor defensive header, and Mann couldn't quite get a touch on it. Well done by the keeper Lewis, but Van der Meij selling his goalie very short there, and again, almost 1-0. As they look to rebound there and create something. It's Wadawu on the ball. He cuts it back inside, and that's a bit of an aimless pass. And Pearce will gather that easily But again, some uncertainty in the back here, and you feel like it's only a matter of time before a goal comes as we tick to 20 minutes now.
Yeah, not an effort I think Vandermeer or Glenn McNeil would be fond of that. You don't want to give Braden Mann too many opportunities at the edge of the box. I think most times that goes in the back of the net, but luckily Sean Lewis very wise to the situation. Throwing comes in now for Woolley. Comes the cool, calm, elected Joey Stevens. Not so cool or calm on that occasion. Gets a piece of Wadawu and it'll be a free kick for Olympia, just beyond halfway. It's been a pretty even start. You can't really give points to either side at this point in time as Hickey plays with Vandermeer, receives it back, gifts it straight to Hunt. He goes to Lazinski, who switches in the middle of the downs, who gives it back to Olympia, and they can regroup. But Hickey far from happy with his attacking pack. They weren't exactly coming at him in droves, that's for sure. As play forward from Griffiths finds Isles, who goes to Mearns. He pumps long and strong and out on the right-hand side, looking for a bit of a foot race between Wadawu and Lewis. Wadawu gets a fair slice of Matt Lewis and correctly is adjudged to have fouled him. So it'll be a free kick for Lewis in his defensive third.
Yeah, very experienced there from Lewis. Knew the contact was coming and went down. Very calmly done by Lewis. Knew exactly what he was doing. Obvious foul in the end as he, thumps an absolute nothing ball forward there, Luo. And Olympia will get the throw in. So I don't know if he's feeling guilty for that or not. But, he's gifted it straight back to him. You've got to say the passing has really dropped off here in the last few minutes. Both teams turning the ball over plenty. There's Woolley with the ball here at right back. The officers into the midfield there. And that's a well-one header. Stevens getting there. Lewis in hardest. Wanted it more than Wadawu, and he thumped it forward, but only as far as the keeper Lewis, and he'll switch it out to the left now. But Isles with it. Thumping it forward, looking for Sakiris. Well read by Ludford. He's having a good game down back, and he has a bit of time. Plays it out. Well, that could be handball, and the referee says yes, indeed it is. And Olympia fans asking for a card. The ref says no, just the free kick. Let's get on with it.
Callum Pash tuning in, and he's loving your work, Drew. He's given you an automatic follow on Twitter. He's asked for the handle, and then he's hashtagged Audible Chocolate, voice of our generation. So some big plaudits for your work. It's Mearns over this one. He'll be hoping to get Olympia in front. He plays it into the box. Dogger Brown meets it with a firm header, but in the process gives Olympia a corner. They'll be hoping to breach the South Hobart defence here, their first corner of the game. Statistically speaking, it's been a pretty even affair. 5 shots to 4 in South's favour. Mearns to deliver in, goes long, but to the front post. It's punched away from Pearce. Hickey goes to meet it, shanks it a little, gives it to Stevens. He puts it out in front of Walter, looks to get him running. Woolley does enough to track back and cut off, but he's made a meal of it and made Lewis work really hard to get it from the byline. He puts it out for a throw-in. Good bit of work from the US keeper. Far from happy with his defence, his treatment of it, but Alex Walters' pace back there really testing Olympia's defences. Hunt plays in for Mann. It's a good save from Lewis. Comes back. Oh, and Lazinski rifles it into the right upright. Action aplenty here at Darcy Street. As we'll watch this one again. It was a cute little backheel, first of all, from Walter. Comes from Hunt. He goes back to Mann. Firm strike. Saved well from Lewis. A nice spec save there, and it came back for Lazinski, who cannoned into the right upright. Olympia escape. We're 24 minutes gone here at Darcy Street.
Yeah, tough angle for Lazinski, but definitely an opening there. Keeper was still scrambling back to position after a fine first save by Lewis there. But a chance goes begging for Souths, and a real warning shot is Wadawu. Plays it into Sakiris, and he'll flick it really to no one. Neymar will get the ball and look to play in Hickey. Will he? No, he uses him as a decoy. Now cuts inside, looking for Wadawu. Wadawu to the byline, cuts it back. And some half-hearted appeals for a back pass against Brown, but I don't think that's ever going to be called. Nothing wrong there as Pearce picks it up and lobs it away, and well won there in midfield. Scrappy game. Schmidt goes down. Play on, says the referee. Oz with it. Pearce is off his line, and he's taken out. Neymar here. What is the referee going to do? He's given him a slice of cheese, and that was a very cynical challenge from Pearce. He was scrambling, and an ugly challenge there. I don't know what he was doing. He made a rash decision to come off his line. That's a poor challenge. You might have to see the replay of that, but could very well be lucky just to get a slice of cheese there, Damien.
Yeah, see, Kane Pearce has had mixed fortunes in these regards. He was obviously really stiff to see red last year in the last minute for verbal, but he also got away with a beauty against South Melbourne in the NPL final series, where his last man he should have been sent off for all money. So, yet again, he might be pretty lucky to escape as we see the replay. It was slipped into Neymar. It's just Pearce running in. Neymar dinks outside. He clips a little bit of Neymar. I guess what is helping Pearce is there's a couple back, and that you can't really say that his last man is denying a goal-scoring opportunity. But the challenge itself isn't overly malicious, so it's probably not a straight red anywhere else on the park. So for mine, pretty good adjudication there from Copra, but at first glance it looked like a clear red for me. But beauty of the replay, and some may say he's lucky to still be on the pitch, but hopefully for Olympia's sake they can just keep piling on and keep applying that sort of pressure, because Neymar is really testing them out there, especially Dogger Brown at the back. He's been exposed for pace a couple of times.
Yeah, very, very late looking at the replay there from Pearce. Almost got nowhere near the ball. Probably too late saved him, if anything. The player was just about past him by the time he was following through. But he'll be walking a tightrope from now on. That was not good at all. It was actually an offside call, if you're wondering why South have the ball. It doesn't, of course, excuse the foul. So a clear yellow, but the offside obviously supersedes the free kick, as Souths now looks to calm down and passes forward here to Lazinski. He'll switch it out wide to the right as Schmidt crossing it, but well cut out, and Isles will regain. He thumps it forward. Brown on the ball, thumping it forward, and cut out by Van der May quite nicely. Souths perhaps uncharacteristically just resorting to a few long balls here. Isles again with it on the left. Streaming forward, there's some lovely work there. The South's cutting now. Here's a fine ball from Hickey. Plays him with Dawood, but just a little bit short for him, and well done by Lewis. But Woolley is there. He'll get it. Plays it back to Hickey. He's been influential early. Here he is again. And well defended in the end. And Souths will get the throw. Much to the disdain of what you have to say is a fairly solid travelling Olympia crowd here, making plenty of noise here at Darcy Street, home to South Hobart. It is a fine crowd we've got in here. And why not? A lovely day for football, as Olympia will take over on the halfway line through Woolley.
Throwing down the line. Looking for Zakiris. He might be able to keep this in from the byline. He treads on it to keep it alive, but Ludford gets in. Looks to collect it. Zakiris wins back well. Plays in for Neymar, who looks to have recovered, or has he? He goes and clutches his shoulder. It's a man who picks it up for South Hobart. Swings it out onto the right. Looking for Walter's run. He crosses halfway. Takes a touch, and Griffiths does well. Gets a leg in and sees it out. But definitely South Hobart in an uncomfortable position early in this one. Neymar still down on the deck in a bit of trouble. Stevens looks to pick out a pass for man. He finds him. Just on the left edge of the box. Woolley comes in. Does not mind a challenge at all. Harry Woolley wins the ball. Pumps forward. Comes off the head of Lewis. Straight to Adawu. It's Neymar who's recovered. Only a breach. Gets inside. Plays across to Zakiris. He takes it. It's a super save from Pearce. Oh, comes the edge of the box. Stevens sees clear. Adawu on the ball now. Still alive for Olympia. And Lewis sees out. Oh my, oh my. Kane Pearce has saved South Hobart. Super bit of work by Olympia to break down the right. Neymar looked to just about put the bow on the present for Manny at the back post, as we see here. He just needs to tuck it home, and Pearce made himself big and saved with his leg, and it's now a corner for Olympia as it's swung in, and it's a shocker from Miles.
Yeah, look, an outstanding save from Pearce, although, once again, Sekiris, he really has to score from there. It's another chance that's gone begging. Can't give Pearce enough credit. He did everything right, but Sekiris, with plenty of time, plenty of space, just put his shot far too close to the keeper. And really, that lack of a cutting edge is probably shining through here. Mann's missed a chance for South Hobart, Wadawu and Sekiris both with great openings for Olympia, and now we've got Schmidt down here causing a stoppage. I think he's all right. Neymar, meanwhile, is still holding that shoulder, and you do wonder if he's going to be able to continue. He looked all right on that run, which was certainly a positive, but before and after, really clutching at that left shoulder, and I'm just not sure if he's going to be able to continue here. He's wandering over to the sideline now for some treatment, perhaps. But unfortunately, it appears the entertaining Neymar might not be long for this game. Schmidt is also going to get some treatment on a knee, so it is the walking wounded here at Darcy Street, unfortunately, which is not what we want to see. Players using this opportunity to get a breather. It's been a pretty pulsating clash so far, plenty of turnovers, but plenty of chances being created. A good game of football as we've reached the half-hour mark here. Still no goal, 0-0, and I just feel like it's only a matter of time before we see one of these sides opening the screw. One of these chances have to be taken. There are too many quality attacking players out there on the park for this to remain a stalemate for too much longer. But Neymar does look in trouble here. He's come over to the sideline. I think he's going to try and continue on, but the subs are warming up and it doesn't look good. Meanwhile, Schmidt is also, well, he's walking off on the other side. Walking is a good sign. But hopefully, for two of the most talented younger players out there, we don't want to see either of them off.
Obvious reluctance to take Neymar off because he's doing a lot of good out on the pitch for Olympia, and they don't want to change too much because so far it's been pretty well so good for them apart from the finishing. And that's exactly what Corndog points to on the tweet. Horrendous finishing is a simple 2 words from Corndog, and he's pretty spot on. You've got to do better with that sort of opportunity. Echoed by Callum Pask, who says, how has he missed that? Pearce with a stellar save keeps South Hobart in it. He does indeed. And look at more feedback. There's plenty going on here. But statistically speaking, we're looking at 7 shots for South to 5 of Olympia, but obviously the most glorious of glorious chances just coming before us. Moons does well, slips through, finds Isles. Back now for Moons. He looks inside. Looks to find Sekiris in the box. It's cut off with a toe from Downs and then cleared by Brown. Out for the big bull, Lazinski. He finds the wrecking ball, Hunt. He propels forward. Oh, Walter with some slick work. Nice first touch. Looks to play in a rather tantalising ball for Mann. One in the air now for Holmes. Played out for Walter. He slips in. Looks to get it moving. Lazinski looks to turn on. He's flattened. Holmes wins it away from Hunt. Now with Hickey. He goes long down the right, looking for Wadawu. It eludes his right peg, and it's out for a South Hobart throw. Danger at both ends. It's been a real pleasure to watch this contest so far. 33 minutes gone. The only thing really missing is a goal. We've had red card shouts, yellow cards for both sides. We've had shots galore, stellar saves as Woolley rises high and meets it with his right arm. Pretty clear-cut handball there from Woolley, so it'll be a South Hobart free kick. Just pushing up to halfway on this grandstand side. Plays in the centre, finds Brown in the bullseye. Takes a touch, looks a measure of ball for Lazinski as it's slid away in the end by Holmes. Comes to Isles, he turns. Oh, slips into Hickey, a bit of time and space to measure a ball. Puts it out on the right and it squirts out. Eludes the run of Warren Wadawu, but yet again they look pretty dangerous when they look out onto that right-hand side, Olympia. Obviously exposing South Hobart a little bit out there as it's a throw-in from Lewis, and Woolley says you can have another, puts it out of play. Be interested to see if Neymar does make way, who comes on for Olympia. Of course they've got Swagger Bellini in reserve and our boy the lettuce farmer. I think we might see the lettuce farmer, we'll see. I'd be surprised if we see Neymar come back after half-time. That's my call. I think they'll tell him to grind it out to the half, and then they'll make the change then as Holmes scoops along. Comes to Downs, who loses it. It's won by Mearns. It comes to Neymar. He's got Stevens for company. Looks to play with Dawu. Lewis steals. Looking for Hunt, and Woolley sees it out of play with a decent chunk of Hunt on the way. And it's out for a Warriors throw. Woolley on it. Yeah. Throws for down the line now, rather. Wadawu does well to nutmeg Stevens. Slips in Neymar. He looks to get by one in Brown. And Brown tries to keep it alive, but it's out for a corner. Olympia causing a lot of damage. Can they cause the ultimate damage and claim an opener? That's what's eluding them at this point in time, Andrew Cooling.
Yes, they're certainly threatening here. And another corner. The pressure's starting to build on South as we approach half-time. Hickey will play it back to the dangerous Isles. Here he is. Oh, some brilliant work to get around Hunt and plays a teasing ball in, which has come last off Hickey, I think. Sorry, off Pearce. He's claiming it was Holmes, but I've never known a goalie to not try and get the goal kick, even though he knows it's clearly come off him. So I'm not sure we'll take his word for that one, as Isles will reload here. Yet another corner. Can they break through them here? They have been threatening in the last few minutes. It's a good ball in, but it's too deep. Wasteful, though Brown jumps over his own man. That being man, somewhat surprisingly. A bit unnecessary. And that is headed out of play. Well covered as Olympia will scramble back into defence. The wrecking ball has it, and he'll lob it forward looking for man, but it's well cut out there. And close to the midfield here, Lazinski again looking it over the top. That's a fantastic ball for man. He gathers now, corrals, and he'll just go back and wait for some support. Looking to get it into the middle there. And they'll just have to pass it back to Schmidt, so nothing really comes of that. They're in a dangerous area, but they've kept the ball. Here's Joey Stevens now. Stevens plays it into Hunt. Hunt looks to cut inside, but it's very nicely defended there by Griffiths. And in the end, a foul is adjudged by the referee, and they'll get a chance from the set piece here. 36 minutes gone. Getting close to half-time, and South's just looking to calm it down here after a few minutes of good play from Olympia. They've certainly not created much of late, and they'll look to this set piece to try and test Lewis, who, after that fantastic save, has been pretty quiet of late.
Yeah, you got to say Olympia pretty well with a run of play at this point in time. South Hobart not out of the game though. That's the thrill of this contest so far. That's where the free kick Downs. Cannon straight into the wall. Looked to be off the arm of Mearns. Has come through for Lazinski. He looks to try and almost sit on it to keep the ball inside the South Hobart box. In the end, they scurry it out through Wiles. It's out for a South Hobart throw. Throwing comes in from Schmidt. Back through Downs, and then Downs will have to go back to his goalie in Pearce, who's a long way from home. Puts it out in front of Ludford. He gets running. Plays through. Nice ball from Mann. Heavy touch lets in Isles. He wins it for Olympia. Through from Woolley to Hickey in the bullseye. Chips along looking for Wadawu. It's a shocking effort from Schmidt. It's let in Wadawu. And he finishes into the top right. Olympia lead. Oh my. A rare mistake from Connor Schmidt at the back. Lets in Wadawu. And this time Olympia find the back of the net. Firing into the top right. You got to say, reward for effort. They've been on top in the last 10 or 15, and a justified goal for Glenn McNeil's men.
Yeah, look, they've been knocking on the door, and Wadawu, this time he wasn't to be denied. And I tell you what, flashbacks to South Africa here. We've got the Vuvuzelas blaring in the crowd, an awful lot of noise. It may be an away game for Olympia. As we'll just get back to the action here. South's looking to respond immediately. He cuts back inside and very well defended in the end by Vandermeer. South's looking to hit back immediately. Some good work from Walter down the flank as Olympia will push forward here. And here is Neymar, who seems to have recovered. And that's well cut out by Brown. But again, this game going end to end. As we'll have a look at the replay in a second, I think. We'll get that for you in just a moment. Here we go. We can see Keep playing it forward. Just a slip there. He's fallen over. And Wadawu has all day. Pixie spot. It's a lovely finish and showed the composure that had thus far been lacking. But just a big slip there, and you just can't afford to do that in that part of the ground. As was looking dangerous again there. Lazinski with the ball though. He's looked to hold it up and he'll play it back and now switch out to the left-hand side with Lewis. Can he get forward? He hasn't offered much in an attacking threat so far this game. He's had his hands full defensively. Man now drifting out to the left. He'll play it back to Lewis. What will Lewis do here? Will he switch it back out to the right? He will. Goes to Brown, who just can't quite bring it under his spell. But eventually gets it and he plays it back to Ludford. Ludford with a bit of an aimless ball, really looking for Hunt, and South's looking a little bit rattled at the moment. The goal perhaps just shattering their confidence a little. They'll hope to get into half-time without further damage as Holmes finds Woolley and sold him a bit short there, although there was a bit of afters in there from Mann, and the referee coming in and just tells him to calm down, and well refereed in the end. No need to pull out the card, just tell him to calm down there. Well refereed there as Holmes will take the free kick and he'll play it back to Lewis. And Lewis seeking out Woolley on this right hand side. Plays it back to Hickey. A bit industrious. Finds it back again to Woolley. Puts it inside. Will it fall for Isles? No. That's some very nice play there from Ludford running out of defence, but only as far as Hickey. Olympia now looking to get on top. Hickey, very nice back heel, and Neymar's got a little bit of space, but the ball was too central, and Brown is able to cut that out. He'll take it out, and he does well, but Neymar wins the throw for Olympia.
Yeah, super finish from Udawu, and that sees Olympia in a rare position up against South Hobart as Hickey plays a cross off the head of Brown, down for downs. He sees it by Mearns. It's Hickey in a South Hobart sandwich. He sees it out for Mearns. Finds Griffiths. He tries to measure a ball, but he gives it straight to Connor Schmidt. Plays to Lazinski, receives it back. He'll get running down that right flank. Plays forward for Walter that has to wait for it a little bit. Wasn't quite timed, that run from Walter. And Griffiths will mop it up at the back with a bit of help from Lewis. No, he doesn't. Lewis's ball back to him. Bit of a shocker, and breezes by his booting out for a South Hobart throw as they look to try and restore parity. We're into the 42nd minute. Olympia would be wanting to hold on to this 1-0 lead going into the break, and they can just reassess things and try and come out and fire up again as it's played to Cool Calm Collector Joey Stevens. With his trademark composure, finds Lewis, receives back. He's got Neymar providing pressure. He puts it through, bobbles off the boot of Hunt and cleared away by Woolley. Ludford meets it with an unconvincing header, and then he has to just cannon forward with a right boot on the outside of it. And Van der May does the same with his head and puts it down the right flank and out for South Hobart throw. Comes back off Hickey and down for Isles. Slips through a couple and tries to find Neymar. Stevens wins, plays down the left-hand side looking for Lazinski. He steals off Woolley. Blasts the ball across the box and it's out for a goal kick. Lazinski, we haven't called his name too many times. He's probably had a bit of a down half for his lofty standards. He was my fire starter call, a bit of a shocker. But the other one, Luke Isles, on the Olympia side of things, I think he's had a good half. So I'm quite happy. I'm giving myself a tick for that one. If it was the War Room, I'd be getting the big green tick. This is pumped long. Udawu wins down. Stevens steals, but plays to no one in particular. Luckily for him, he's got a foul to help give South Hobart back possession.
So South Hobart to take back over here as we push towards half-time. Very close to it now. Just a couple of minutes to go plus stoppage time. And South's looking to strike back before the break, although they'd probably take 1-0 here and a chance to reassess as here's Isles again. But Ludford just did enough, but is adjudged to have fouled the referee, and no complaints from Ludford, so probably a fair enough decision there as Olympia Holmes very quick to rush up to that one. They're looking to keep the tempo up here, really put the foot on the throat. It's a good ball looking for Isles, and he do here. He's up against Ludford. He cuts inside, well defended in the end, and they will win yet another corner. And a good contest there between Ludford and Isles. Great young attacking talent against one of the very best defenders in the competition in Ludford, and he takes the points there. But Olympia with yet another corner. Can we get our corner count, Damien? They'll be mounting up, I'd imagine, here. The fourth one of the corner now. Fourth one of the half for Warriors. Good chance to strike just before the half. As again, it's deep. Well, this time falls off for Dawo's head, and it just fell there for a moment, but cleared easily enough from South. But not the best defending I've ever seen. Certainly free header and then just rolling down at the feet. Not convincing. And they've looked a little bit suspect at the back at times. South Hobart, somewhat uncharacteristic of them. There's Olympia, will look to push it forward, and that's poor from Lewis. And hey, just a couple of times his distribution has been a bit off today, Lewis. But he's still been pretty solid when he's been put under pressure. As Schmidt looking for someone to throw it to. Finds Downs, who plays it back to Schmidt and goes to Ludford and all the way back to Pearce. So somewhat out of ideas here, South. Ludford forced onto his left and moves it forward. Lazinski is beaten out by Holmes, who's had a very good game at the heart of defence. Here's Hickey, that's a good ball, sticking out Isles, but getting back is Matthew Lewis, who puts it behind for yet another corner. As we tick into stoppage time here, Olympia with a late chance to try and double that advantage, and South desperately just trying to hold on here and see their way to the halftime whistle without going two down.
Yeah, Isles again causing a few headaches, and you've got to say Hickey's been pretty solid in midfield. Been a real general for Olympia, something that maybe South Hobart lack the other way, as it's put in from Isles. A dangerous corner loomed large going to the back post. In the end, it's heaved clear. Comes to Walter, he looks to use his pace. He burns off Griffiths. Griffiths recovers though, provides good chase, slides in. It's a shocking challenge, and he'll be very lucky if he doesn't see a slice of cheese here. He escapes with a talking to. He's very, very lucky there is Griffiths. He'd been beaten in a foot race and he just stuck out the legs in the end. Here we go. It was almost a tag team. The Bash brothers came in. But he got no ball. I'm not sure how he's escaped a card there. Very, very lucky. We're ticking into added time, Andrew Calling, and Olympia just got to hold on strong here as Hunt delivers in to a crowded box over the back to Mann, who heads nicely, but on his line Lewis collects. Nice bit of composure by Lewis. No panic stations there. He throws out on the left looking for Griffiths. He hesitates, lets him Walter, but luckily for Olympia, it's a heavy touch from Walter and it's out for a Warriors throw.
Yeah, let's just have a look at the replay there. A good effort at the end from Mann. Did well to get his body in position, get the header on target. Never had enough power there to beat Lewis. He dealt with it nicely. So we're ticking right towards half time here. The referee has had a look at his watch. It's battle in midfield, and Wadawu wins it. It's just hacked forward to Sekiris. He's got 3 to beat, and Ludford deals with that well enough. As the referee judges, Sekiris just left a bit on him. And surely the whistle will be going here soon. I suppose we had some injuries there, so there'll be a few minutes of added time. Here's Brown with the ball. Can South conjure something up late? Stevens did well. He was sold very short by Brown, but did well to win it. And Schmidt now will take over. Wide on the right, and a few fans here just calling for half time as South's just threatening here. Good ball forwards. Well dealt with again. They've been very composed at the back. Again hacked out. And the referee just looks at his watch again. We've gone now 3 minutes of added time, so the whistle can't be too far away. I think both teams would be happy to head in. Throws it in. Well one in the air. Back to Stevens. What can he do? He just holds it up and plays it back to Brown. Sold him short, and Wadawu very busy. Fought hard, but spills out for a South Hobart throw. Go again here through Schmidt. Plays it up looking for Hunt. Couldn't find him. He gathers, looks to turn, but well done again by Shea Hickey, although the referee again lets out a foul. It's a scrappy end to this half and shoes. Plenty of fouls being adjudged as he just thumps it forward to Mann, who flicks it on to nobody in particular. Lewis will gather that and just punts it forward, looking for Wadawu. Can he gather and create something? No, he's well defended by Schmidt. That's well done in midfield. But it falls to Pearce, and the whistle finally goes. bringing it into an entertaining half. We got a bit scrappy at the end, but before that, it was very entertaining. It's Olympia Warriors who lead 1-0 on the road at Darcy Street. They had their chances. South also did, but you have to say, a deserved lead, Damien Gill.
Yeah, definitely a deserved lead. I think it was end-to-end stuff for a lot of time, but then the back end of that half, it really just turned Olympia's way, and I think you can say they, the lion's share, and on the balance of play, deserve a lead at the half-time. But South Hobart far from gone in this one. It shapes up for a really intriguing and entertaining second half. Olympia with an all-too-rare lead for them at Darcy Street. They lead South Hobart 1-0. The goal coming in the 39th minute from Warren Wadawu, who had a couple of chances in the first half, but most importantly, he put away this one, punishing a pretty rare mistake from Connor Schmidt, you got to say. And we might have a look at that goal in a moment, as Ash, the camera master, looks to tee it up for us. A few tweets coming in. Josh Fielding enjoying the cool cheese puffs. Ken's going to go off at half-time. Please put a mic in South's rooms. I wouldn't mind arranging that, Ash, but I reckon that Ken would have a sneaky issue with it. We'll see. We'll get the goal in a moment, but just one goal. And then later on we might have a look at the greater highlights, but after we talk through this, here was the only goal in the first half. Played through nicely from Hickey, but it looked like it was going to be chopped off by Schmidt. He leaves his leg hanging, slips down. Wadawu pounces, looks inside, measures his ball, puts it in the top right, and there we go. Olympia took a lead. And I've got to say, it's fitting both those two players involved in terms of Hickey and Wadawu, because for me they were two of the standouts in that opening half from Olympia. Let's talk through some of the standouts, Drewy. As I said, those two for me for Olympia. Also like the work of Luke Isles. What about yourself?
Yeah, look, early on, Souths were winning the midfield battle, but Hickey really started to impose himself the longer the game go on. He's certainly been one of their best. I've been very impressed with the play of Harry Woolley at right back. I think he's had a very stellar game. There's not been a lot got in behind him. Probably got beaten once there, but he's offering a good attacking threat. I've been very impressed with his performance. Alex Holmes, he's been his usual composed self at the back, dealing with anything that comes in the air, and I don't think he's lost an aerial duel all game, maybe not all season. He's a pretty dominant centre-back, Holmesy. He's had a fantastic game. And yeah, Neymar's obviously shown plenty of flashes. We hope that he can continue. I think as the last 5 minutes or so, he wasn't clutching at that shoulder as often. So we certainly hope that he won't be subbed off at half-time there, Neymar.
It's funny what a goal can do, I reckon, Drewy. I reckon you do a shoulder and you start to feel a bit glum, and then, oh, we've got a goal, I might want to stay on here. Every time the ball's some sort of got near Neymar, he's looked to perk up a little bit as well. I'm not suggesting anything, but I'm just saying I reckon the goal might help his keenness for the second half contest. What about South Hobart, Drewy? Who have you liked from the losing side at this point in time? There's not too many times I've called that out on a live slice of cheese broadcast. Who have you liked from South?
It hasn't been the most consistent game, but Alex Walter has done some nice things. He's had a few good moments, and I think if he can start to see a bit more of the ball, they might see a bit more of an attacking threat. Look, man, he's worked very hard. He's been running his socks off the front, man. He's been left, he's been right. He's been a constant thorn in the side, but it's probably just lacked the service. Obviously, he had that one chance, which, a striker's measured on his goals. He probably should have done better with that one. So that's, not been his best game, but he's worked hard. It's been pretty quiet, the attacking players, though. I've certainly been impressed with Hugh Ludford at the back. He's been put under a lot of pressure, that's for sure. So Hugh Ludford probably been my best player so far, but at the moment it's Olympia well on top, and hard to find too many winners on the park for South Hobart. It's 1-0 here if you're just tuning in. Half-time at Darcy Street in the PS4 Victory League. This big game between Olympia Warriors and South Hobart. Warren Wadawu, the goal scorer. He missed a good chance early, but then redeemed himself. It's been a very open game, and you would suggest, Amy, that there are more goals to come in the second half.
We'll be back in a minute we'll leave you with some highlights of the first half now as we have a bit of a breather and just compose ourselves for what should be a pulsating second half here at Darcy Street.
Man, it was. In behind him. Hunt with a teasing ball, and it's headed over the top for a man. It wasn't Farrell. In behind him. Hunt with a teasing ball, and it's headed over the top for a man. It wasn't Farrell.
I'm worried about the way South Hobart Mids are being allowed to move the ball so freely as they do so. And man tries an early shot to test Lewis, but he's up to that one. Another shot. As it's played down the left-hand side. Oz looks to put it into the danger zone. Comes to Wadawu, and he blazes away. A glorious chance to...
Plays it back now. South, that's a fantastic ball, stumbling, but he regains his composure. Cuts it back to Manby. Didn't make enough contact. Oh, and that was good. Plays it back now. South, that's a fantastic ball, stumbling, but he regains his composure. Cuts it back to Manby. Didn't make enough contact. Oh, and that was good. And no fouls as the referee. Play on as that ball is played in, and sneaking in behind is Neymar, but Pearce just gets there first with another dangerous moment there at the back. The pace giving a few problems.
And goes back to the sanctuary of Dogger Brown. He doesn't want to get in a foot race with Neymar. Neymar robs it. It's a horrible foul from Dan Brown. Has to go in the book for that one. Slice.
It gets round one with a nice piece of skill, and then he plays it forward looking for Mann. Vandermeer back. And that's a poor defensive header. And man couldn't quite get a touch on it. Well done by the...
He puts it out in front of Walter. Looks to get him running. Woolley does enough to track back and cut off, but he's made a meal of it and made Lewis work really hard to get it from the byline. His treatment of it, but Alex Walters' pace back there really testing Olympia's defences. Hunt plays in for man. It's a good save from Lewis. Comes back. Oh, and Lazins.
Look to play in Hickey, will he? No, he uses him as a decoy. Now cuts inside looking for Wadawu. Wadawu to the byline, cuts it back. And some half-hearted appeals it away, and well won there in midfield. Scrappy game. Schmidt goes down. Play on, says the referee. Oz with it. Pearce is off his line, and he's taken out. Neymar.
Only a breach. Gets inside. Plays across to Sekiris. He takes it. It's a super save from Pearce. Oh, comes the edge of the box. Stephen sees clear. Wadawu on the ball now. Down the line now, rather. Wadawu does well to nutmeg Stephen. Slips in Neymar. He looks to get by one in Brown. And Brown tries to keep it alive, but it's out for a corner. Through from Woolley to Hickey in the bullseye. Chips along looking for Wadawu. It's a shocking effort from Schmidt. It's let in Wadawu. And he finishes into the top right. Olympia. Through from Woolley to Hickey in the bullseye. Chips along looking for Wadawu. It's a shocking effort from Schmidt. It's let in Wadawu. And he finishes into the top right.
Their confidence a little. Hopes to get into half-time without further damage as Holmes finds Woolley and sold him a bit short there, although there was a bit of afters in there from Mann, and the referee coming in and just tells him to calm down, and well refereed.
Off Griffiths. Griffiths recovers though, provides good chase, slides in. It's a shocking challenge, and he'll be very lucky if he doesn't see a slice of cheese here. He's just got to hold on strong here as Hunt delivers in to a crowded box over the back to Mann, who heads nicely, but on his line Lewis collects. Nice bit of composure by Lewis. So we're back here approaching the second half between South Hobart and Olympia, the Summer Cup champs of this year and last year's reigning champions for the PS4 Victory League in South Hobart at Darcy Street. Olympia lead 1-0 at this point in time. Good goal taken by Wadawu, firing into the top right in the 39th minute. But South not without their chances. It's a half that had good, solid end-to-end football at the start. Ball not really getting bogged down in midfield, which is good to see. Chances both ends, and a bit of fire as well. And I'm expecting much more of that in the second half, Drewster. I'm interested to get from you though, mate. This is something we regularly ask for. Who's the second half fire starter? So we're looking at South Hobart, and we're going, they're behind. They're in the sheds. They're a goal down. Not something they're used to, South Hobart. Ken Morton probably giving them a fair old spray, I would have thought. Who is going to turn things around for South? Who's going to light the fire? Who's the fire starter?
Well, I don't know if he will, but I think if they are to do well, Christopher Hunt needs to lift. He is skirting around the edges a bit in the first half. He's a quality player. We know the impact he can have. He's pretty well shackled in the first half. He needs to be more involved in the game. If he can start creating a threat, that'll open up that space for man that he was so deprived of in the first half for large parts. So my fire starter, Chris Hunt.
Interesting. For me, it's Alex Lazinski. I had him at the fire star in the first half, and he didn't get, number one, he didn't get a heap of service, and number two, when he did it, he was a bit wasteful. I think if he can make the most of the chances he gets in this second half, it's going to be interesting for South Hobart. Usually he's one of those guys that takes the chances when they come, and he can really turn things with that big physical presence up there. I think he needs to get on the ball more, and we might see something happen for South Hobart. For Olympia, who do you think, not so much needs to lift, but who do you think needs to shine in this second half if they're to hold onto a lead or even build onto it?
Look, I can't help but feel that South will score at some point, so Olympia probably going to need to find another goal. So I'll go with Manny Sakaris. He had a golden chance in the first half, which he shot straight at Pierce. Well, not straight out. It was a good save by Pierce, but he really should have buried it. And just think that if he gets another chance like that, he simply has to bury it. They can't be quite as wasteful as they were in the first half, Olympia. They've got the lead, but perhaps should be further ahead. And South Hobart are not a team you want to be wasteful against. So I'll go with Manny as my fire starter in the second half for the Olympia Warriors. We're just about right to get back underway here. We've got the Warriors out on there, but Kenny Morton apparently keeping his South boys in. Do you reckon maybe a bit of the hairdryer treatment coming out from Ken? I don't think he was looking particularly pleased down on the sidelines at the end of that first half.
Well, Ken gave them a bit of spray post-game last week because they turned a 6-0 into a 6-2. So I think it's fair to say, yeah, they're copping one. And they're making their way out. No surprise to see them come out a little bit later than the Warriors, who would be well and truly up and about. Glenn McNeil would be trying to keep a bit of a lid on, the excitement and within the group, the Olympia group, because they are a group that in the past have got a little bit carried away with themselves. We've seen them win Summer Cups, we've seen them win Lacquer Seljet Cups, and we've seen them look really good and think they're the next big thing in Tassie soccer. And then they fall off it. And they fall away, and they let into South Hobart. You only have to give South Hobart, a bit of a chance, half a sniff, and they'll take it. So I think that's something for Glenn McNeil that he would have really pressed into his troops at half-time. They've got to keep fighting for 90-plus minutes against South Hobart. We've seen plenty of teams test them for a half. We've seen very few teams test them for 90 minutes. And that's something that I think all Olympia fans would be pretty hopeful for in this second half. I'm pretty confident with my 1-all prediction, my draw prediction. I think South Hobart, you don't see them have too many down halves. I expect them to come out firing this second half. I think if they feed the ball more to Alex Lazinski, and even Alex Walter, I think, looked really dangerous when he was on the ball. His turn of pace is something that worried Olympia. Jono Griffiths looked to be in a bit of strife out there at times. So I think the job's not done for Olympia, but South will come out energised in this second half. And we're underway here at Darcy Street, the second half. It's Olympia's kick, and they go all the way back to their defence, and then eventually with Lewis, who pumps forward. Over the head of Sekiris, met with the head of Ludford, and it's an offside against Sekiris. He tapped that one after coming back from an offside position. Plays short from Ludford to Lewis. He looks to race away from Sekiris. Looks to just slip one through. It's Mearns. He turns and gives to Sekiris out on the right-hand side. Cuts in. Plays nicely. Delicate ball for Neymar. He fakes. Looks to cut it across. Blocked by Stevens. Comes to Wiles. Rifles off a shot first time. The Pearce saves well. Hard down near his front post. And it's out for a corner.
Some good work there from Pearce to get down at his near post. Some clever work by Neymar in the build-up you see here. Making once, well blocked and just regaining his composure. Cutting it back to the dangerous Isles. And he shot, well, you wouldn't expect it to be a keeper of Pearce's calibre from there, but wins his side a corner in the first threat of the half coming through Olympia. It's a good ball in. Holmes was threatening it. Just floated over his head and Pearce cleared. It's back in and a diving header from Lewis to just about clear it. Few aerial duels, and now Ludford will clear, and he plays it up here to Mann. Mann looking to play it through to Walter. He's in behind here, Alex Walter. He's in one-on-one. Oh, and a cracking save from Lewis. Another chance goes begging in this game. It was brilliant build-up play, and Lewis lightning out off his line here. But again, we see the pace of Walter just troubling the Olympia centre-halves. They've been pretty dominant in the air. When they've got him behind, they've certainly worried him. That is some great keeping there from Lewis. And not the first one-on-one in this game. We've seen a good save. We saw one earlier from Pearce, and now Lewis matching his opposite numbers effort. There's a corner now for South Hobart. It's whipped in towards the back post and dealt with just about by Shea Hickey. And Darwin thumps it forward, and the race is on. Ludford v Sekiris, and Ludford just wins it. And now he will look to play Lazinski out on the left. Woolley there to deal with him. There's a bit of a nothing header, picked out Holmes, and he clears. But better from South Hobart, you'd have to say. After a positive start from Olympia, they go right back at him. It seems we're going to have a very end-to-end game in the second half, just like the first.
Yeah, it's pretty well started like it did the first half, as it's played from Downs out now to Hunt, who's met by Woolley. Woolley does not mind a challenge at all. He has a real physical presence. He doesn't look like to be a real strong and imposing player, but he certainly lets his opponent know about it. As Downs plays long and direct, finds man, meets with a volley, but it's a shocker and it's well wide of goal. Man screams for a corner. No chance in hell. It didn't look like a corner from my view. As we see it pumped long from Downs. Man, he had a bit of time and space to measure it. He went first time and it was a shocker. Wouldn't have been on target for a second goal frame, I don't think. But to be fair to Man, those things generally come off for him. So he was probably was within his rights to try it. As Lewis blasts forward off the head of his namesake, Matt Lewis. Down now, looking for Hunt, seen away from raised boot of Mearns, down for Sekiris. He chests down for Isles, chips along. It's a nice looking ball that tests the South Hobart defence. In the end, they scurry it out through Brown. He puts out for Lazinski, a foot race between Holmes and Lazinski. And in the end, Holmes meets it, plays back for Lewis to pump long. Off the head of Brown and down for Neymar. He looks to switch it up, finds Badawi, the goal scorer. Cuts inside, and then looks to slip for Sekiris. Looked like the right idea from Wadawi, but just different wavelengths, him and Sekiris. Throws forward now, finds Hunt. Plays in for Lazinski, seen away from Holmes. Gets there Hickey to Neymar, who looks to be in decent health in this second half. Isles looks to breeze by one in Stevens. In the end, Ludford comes across to cut it off. Isles providing pressure in that defensive third for South Hobart. Pump long looking for Lazinski again. He's looking pretty isolated. He's come out from Holmes to Griffiths out on the left-hand side. Finds Wadawi. He looks to beat Schmidt. Schmidt powers in the contest, and then Downs comes across to slide away from Griffiths, who bombed on from his full-back position. Here we are. Good slide tackle there from Chrissy Downs, and out for a Warriors throw as they look to press on down this left-hand side. Wadawi puts it in. Mearns treads on it. And Schmidt should be able to see it clear of danger as we see Walter play out through Downs, and then Vandermeer jumps in and clears.
Yeah, it's very well dealt with there by Vandermeer. No nonsense. Just thumping it out of there. And Pearce will take the goal kick. Just having a look at Gustafsson, still grabbing that arm every now and then, but I think he's recovered from that earlier challenge. Certainly seems to be moving fine. South Hobart now look to build down the right-hand side. It's lofted forward towards Sekiris. Suggestions of a hand there. Play on, says the referee. A great turn and a dangerous shot from Manny. And that was very nicely done. A good turn and the quick shot just fizzing wide of Pearce's post there. But another warning shot there to South about the danger that Olympia's number 9 does possess. So we're going to look at the replay here. I think that was alright. Some suggestions from South of a handball, but seemed to be alright, and it was a fiercely struck effort just wide of the post in the end. From a long way out, it would have been a spectacular goal, but he is a man more than capable of them. As Lewis thumps it forward, Holmes is there, and he just uses his head to keep it in. Pressured over there by Walter, who's done well. Holmes uses his body. And win the day. Some indecision about who should go for it from Olympia. That's well done by Mans. He plays it throughout wide now down the right. Here they come through Luke Isles. Isles cutting inside onto that left foot. Cuts in again. Now plays the ball, but Brown was there and hit again. And well saved there by Pearce. Pushes it to safety, but it's Olympia getting on top here. They're creating some chances and playing good football. They're really starting to dominate this game. It's well read by Schmidt in midfielder battle is won by Shea Hickey. Schmidt though there, well, one out by Wadawu. We have turnovers here. The fans screaming out for the referee, but nothing doing, he says. And now for a later infringement, he will pull it up, and good play here again from Olympia. I was testing out Pearce and certainly not shy of having a shot, and why not? His confidence undoubtedly high after the form he has been in of late, as a substitution is being made here. Joey Stevens is being subbed off here. And replacing him, we have got Kobe Kemp coming on. The number 4 program just suggested he was the number 6. Just throwing me off there, but we're all right. Here are Olympia now with the set piece. Mans to play it in. The ball just hit a bit too deep and easy enough for Kane Pearson. Can he launch something here for South Hobart?
So interesting move there. Kobe Kemp probably a bit more energetic in midfield. Just add something there. I didn't think Joey Stevens did too much wrong in particular, but maybe Kemp can provide a bit more for South Hobart in this second half as they chase the game. Thrown down the line by Woolley. Isles handles it. Oh, not seen by Copra. Played on. I think he's been superb, Isles, I've got to say. Played forward by Moons. Off the head of Brown, and Neymar picks it up. Looks to weasel his way in down the right-hand side. He's got Kemp to deal with. In the end, Kemp sees it out for a throw-in. So Olympia throwing now. Oles goes short to Mearns. He looks to navigate his way round Lewis, but unfortunately just sees it straight out for a Pearce goal kick. Taken swiftly by Pearce, long. Straight in the head to opposing player in Hickey. And Schmidt looks to do a bit with it. Takes down Wadawu into foul and then goes to kick the ball away and receives a slice of cheese. Silly bit of work there from Connor Schmidt. A young player with a heap of promise, but hasn't had the best afternoon today. That going with, of course, the slip that let Wadawu in for the first goal. So a free kick here for Olympia and Shea Hickey over it.
Yeah, just unnecessary that from Schmidt. There's no need to be doing that and just picking up cheap yellow cards. They can come back to bite you if you do things like that. So I don't think Kenny Morton will be too impressed with it as Hickey stands over this ball. He'll look to launch it in again. He plays in a teasing ball for Scaris, but Well defended by Ludford. Used his body well and it flows on through to Kane Pearce, who will just play it to Brown. We'll look to get them going forward now down the right-hand side. Who's he got? He plays it direct to the middle and left a little bit in on Brown, did Sakaris there, according to the referee. Souths might have had an advantage there, just not sure why he didn't let that one develop, but it'll be dragged back for the free kick. And Brown will take over here. Souths just need to create something. They've been on the back foot for the last few minutes. Olympia's starting to get on top. They go 2-0 down. It'll be a long way back for them. Sucked forward, but in the direction of Holmes, and he wins that one down. Here's Hunt laying it back there for Downs. Downs goes back to Ludford. Now out there to Schmidt. He turns it over, and Woolley just somewhat haplessly thumps it forward, and no one there. South will get the ball back, but Schmidt, very impressive start to the year, you have to say, but it has not been his day so far.
No, he's had a Sue Hickey, as it's known in these parts, a mare. As it's in midfield, Kobe Kemp on it, plays across. Downs had a horrible touch, so in the end he just cannons forward looking for Mann. In the end, Mann's got outside of Vandermeer. It slips into the bottom left. A goal from nothing for South Hobart. Vandermeer, what was he doing? It looked like Mann was possibly offside, and that's what Vandermeer was gesturing to, but in the end he only has himself to blame for letting Mann run away with it. We'll look to see the replay. Braden Mann, the goal scorer. You don't give him chances like that. Cam Morton would be happy with that. A goal from nothing. We'll look to see the replay. Here it is. Downs in the just cannon forward. It was a bit of a nothing ball. It looked like Mann was offside. Vandermeer didn't deal with it. Mann pounced and put him into the bottom left. Just like that, we're level here at Darcy Street, Drewy.
Yeah, something from nothing there, really. Just got a hoof forward and good use of the body from Mann, and as he so often does, he makes the opposition pay, and Olympia have been so good in this match now, back on level terms, and that's got to be worrying, because that really, they've shown no signs in this half of looking like scoring. Certainly some questions about the offside. It did look like it could have been offside, but you play the whistle. At the end of the day, they just all kind of stopped, and Mann slides in and scores yet another goal. It won't be the last one like that he scores this season. You just can't give that man chances. He's brought South Hobart back into this game. 1-1 the score. Interesting to see if they can push on now and look for a second. How will Olympia respond? They've certainly been the better team, but now nothing to show for it. They're in attack now, and has Lewis fouled? He has, and not particularly pleased with that one, but a free kick now in a dangerous area for Olympia. So they look to hit back immediately.
Yeah, that was a bit of a sucker punch for Glenn McNeil. It was a goal from nothing. Vandermeer, he can point the linesman all he likes, but he was bodied out of that one far too easily. Really, with his size and stature, he should have dealt with the ball before it even got into that position. But as you said, Olympia will look to reduce the played in from Manns. It was a ball at the back post. It was a big crowd of players that met it. Comes out for Neymar now, who plays Shea Hickey. Here's his ball blocked by Mann, who looks up and about after that goal. Woolley tries to play through for Olympia. Cut off from Kemp and then Downs. Sprays it down the left-hand side, looking to use that pace from Walter. Lewis, very wisely off his line, sees clear.
Yeah, the pace of Walter. It's been a threat all game, but well read by Lewis. He's shown a willingness to get off his line, and he's done well with anything like that today. Certainly not a fault for the goal. There's nothing he could do about that. Clinical finish from Mann. Schmidt now looking to launch something forward for South Hobart. He'll switch it out, and that's flicked on nicely. Here's a great chance. He's going to hit it straight at the keeper. And really, you feel probably should have done better there, Chris Downs. Not really a noted goal scorer, but it opened up for him. And all of a sudden, this game has totally swung around, and it's South Hobart who are looking the more likely. Acres of space to the Downs, but could only hit his shot straight at Lewis, and you certainly feel he should have done better with that one. South Hobart now really turning the screws, looking to capitalise on this momentum they built. He's Man, he plays it in. Can he save the corner, Lewis? I don't think he can. It's bundled over deflected off Holmes, and a clear corner there. South Hobart with another chance to whip one in. So it's South Hobart now with the momentum in this game. Things have really swung. The first 5 minutes of this half was all Olympia. But a goal can so often change things, and confidence is brewing as he whips a dangerous ball in, but no one there. It'll fall to the substitute. Well dealt with. Can he get there again? Darwell cross, and he cuts it out nicely. Plays it across to Neymar. What will he do here? He's corralled by Schmidt. Played forward by Wadawin to Sekiris. He chests it down well. Then turns around nicely. Crowd enjoying that from Sekiris with Darwin. Can't get it as South Hobart regain the ball. Shea Hickey going in for it there on the substitute. Here now is Walters. Now it's Walter. Hasn't quite got the pace to get there. And it is picked up by Lewis, and now Olympia can reload down this left-hand side.
Reload they do. It's played from Griffiths to Hickey, who's dealt with by Downs there. It'll be a foul against South Hobart midfielder. They lead that foul tally. They tick into double figures now, 10 fouls and 3 slices of cheese, South Hobart. So they're being busy. Heavy in the tackle, you got to say, as it's played forward and out to the right. Finds Woolley. He shimmies and goes inside to Mearns. Just overshoots his ball a little, and it can't find Neymar, who looks to get involved. Very healthy crowd in here at Darcy Street, believed to be 600 plus inside the gates. There's Downs, runs away with it. Cannons forward, long and strong, looking for Lazinski. He rises high, gets a little bit on it. And Lewis meets it at the edge of his box, throws out for Woolley. Has a bit of time and space as man looks to track him down. Uses that time and space well, plays in, slips in Isles. He looks to cut back and beat Lewis. Dangerous looking ball at the edge of the box. Schmidt sees it clear for Kemp. Walter rather. Gets a piece of Hickey, and Hickey runs away with it. Lovely little toad effort. Finds with Dawu. Seen out from Walter and out eventually for a Warriors corner. They've had plenty of them. This is their 8th. Yet to really... Well, they've threatened, but to test Pearce from these corners. Something that South Hobart's looked a bit dodgy on in the early part of 2015 is their set-piece defending, and we'll see it here as it comes in. It was a swift ball to the back post, but in the end, South Hobart should escape. Comes to Griffiths. He looks to put it back in there, and Brown just hoofs clear. Woolley all on his own. Instead of opting to go to the keeper, he looks to beat Hunt. Almost hurts him, I think, there, but in the end it comes back to him. He breezes it forward, comes back to South Hobart through Walter, and then Downs, who smashes another long ball. It worked for him last time, so I guess why not? This one Vandermeer deals with. Goes short to Lewis. Couldn't do much on that goal, and we've got a tweet in from Paskey. Perfect example of why South Hobart can never be written off. Haven't been in second half apart from first minute, and now they are level. Yeah, very true point. As Sekiris gets it, plays across to Neymar, finds Isles, and it's another stellar stop from Kane Pearce. My oh my, here we go. It was played across from Darwin and came to Sekiris. He bodied Schmidt off well. Put it across for Neymar, who then found Isles. Just has Pearce to beat. Can't. Down hard and well to his left there. Comes to Lazinski at front post, who sees clear the Warriors corner, and they'll have another. Their 10th corner of the afternoon. And we'll see that again as Lazinski just dealt with it. Played in and over the bar, so South Hobart will have a goal kick, and Pearce proving to be pretty invaluable in this contest. He's made some clutch stops for his size. It's pumped forward. Isles wins it in the air, down for Hickey, who just turns and dishes. Finds Wadawu. Brown comes in, wins it back for South Hobart. We're with Walter now, turns. Looks to play for man, but overshoots the ball, and it's out for an Olympia throw.
Yeah, some some fine keeping it was from Pearce. Obviously, at that moment of madness, but he's been very good as Wadawu. Again, lacking the end product there. Skillful to beat Schmidt, but nothing comes of it. And now here's Hunt, who's pressured by two Warriors players there. But he'll win out as Woolley pressures him. And here's Kemp. It's a poor pass for Lewis, sold him really short, and now they're back under the pump here. Olympia attacking through the dangerous aisles. And it's going to fall for Securis. Trying to make something out of nothing in the end. Unable to conjure up a corner, but some good hard work from the striker there. Once again, we see the threat that Luke Isles poses. And this half, he's really starting to take over this game, Isles. Every time he's on the ball, something's happening, and Lewis, the full-back position, has certainly got his hands full there, dealing with the threat of Isles. Pearce, he's got no one to pass it to here, just yelling at his teammates to move for him, ends up playing it to Brown, and they'll attack down the right-hand side. And Manny again with some good pressure. His forward pressure's been fantastic all game. He's been hustling away there and really pressuring the centre-backs, giving him no time. As Olympia turn it over here, and a bit of, Downs and his teammate there having a few words. Downs and Brown, there's a few words exchanged between the two. Not really flowing out of the back half at the moment in typical Souths fashion. That's well won by Shea Hickey. He's having a fine game there. He turns inside and tried to do a bit too much though, and Lazinski challenges and sees it out of play. Hickey down on the ground, and I think he's alright. He's getting up rather gingerly.
Callum Pask with a timely tweet, given the brief stoppage in this one. If South Hobart take points from this game, surely the 3 votes will have to go to Pearce as Olympia break. It's with Dawu with a very tame effort from range that breezes by the goal and out to left. I'm with you, Paskey. I think he's been superb, but obviously a lot to go on in anger in this contest. But if it stays this way, Pearce should definitely feature in the Walter Pless Media Award votes. And of course today we've got the slice of cheese stubby to dish out to the player that collects the 3 votes. So I think he's probably filming as the strongest, one of the stronger candidates at this point in time. But Isles as well for Olympia has been ominous. Hickey busy, and Man's got South Hobart back in the contest, so you never know if he can get himself on the score sheet again. Just might be him as he plays back for Schmidt. Guys are back for Pearce, who's outside his box on the edge of the area. He scoops along. Isles meets it with a head. Oh, it's almost off the boot and Ludford and into dangerous area. In the end, he plays along to Lewis. Hunt plays it into midfield. It's won by Walter. He races away with it. Just a man. Cuts back. Finds Lazinski from range. Looks to fire early and fires wide. It's a shocker from Albie. And out for a goal kick as the Olympia fans stir with a bit of jesting. We see here Albie at time and space opted to take a touch and assess his options, and he went with a shot and didn't test Lewis.
Yeah, just would have liked to see Lazinski driving into the box there rather than take the speculative shot on. It was always going to be a tough one from there. Just like to see him pressure them. They've looked a little bit fragile at the back this half, dealing with the directness and the pace, and here's one who has trouble in Walter, and he's in behind again here. It's Walter running at them, and he hits it straight at Lewis, who's again covering his lines very nicely. He's been rock solid at the back, Lewis, and a good save there, and reloading now Olympia. Here's Shea Hickey. He's been influential, charging forward, trying to dissect that defence, but Ludford read it like a book, and he'll just thump it long to Lazinski, who flicks on. Here's Walter again. Gives it back. Here's Kemp. That's a lovely little nutmeg there, and a fine ball from Walter. And here's Hunt now. He's been quiet. Can he do something here? He charges into the box and has won the foul right on the edge of the area. Woolley adjudged to a foul, Hunt there, as he tried to block the cross, and this is a very dangerous position for South Hobart. Can they do something with it? So, a couple of men standing over here for Souths. Will they go to the left footer or the right footer? Tempted maybe just let the right footer whip one in get the keeper caught in two minds perhaps. Right on the edge of the area here. Can't get too much closer to fouling without giving away a penalty. It's going to be Downs, is it, over the ball? Yes, Downs to take. He plays it short. Oh, mass confusion. And they've just completely wasted that. It was a set play. They were clearly on different wavelengths there. And Olympia now will charge back the other way through Namo. Has just skinned one. He cuts it in for Sakiris. It's very nicely defended, though, by Ludford. He's done well there. Neymar. That's standing. That's a clear foul. And will we see a slice of cheese, perhaps? Referee doesn't look like he's going to give one. It certainly looked on first viewing to be a cheese as we have a look here at the replay. Plays it in. It's coming in now. He's got it. And it's just kicked him in the ankle. That's clear cheese, surely. Oh, the surprise free kick's been taken. Well, the refs allowed it, so that would have been interesting if it had gone in. I'm just not sure about that. So the refs clearly... He's clearly set the wall up. Pierce is nowhere near that. Well, I'm glad that didn't go in because that would have been a very controversial moment. I don't know why the referee allowed that, but anyway, Olympia will take back over.
That would have been a shocker if that just went into the net without Pierce having a clue about it. Well, I think the gods have smiled favourably on Copra there because it could have looked messy for him as seen clear by Woolley. Comes down with snow on it. In the end, Holmes helps it further, looking for Dawu. Schmidt powers it back the other way. It's a hoof fest all of a sudden. Comes off the head of man and down for Walter. He gives and goes. So Lazinski slips in delicately. Oh, it's Griffiths who I think almost played it into his own keeper, and Lewis does well in the end. We'll catch a replay in a moment once play stops as Lewis brings it back the other way, and it's seen out with a big head from Nick Merms. We'll catch the replay here. So it was Walter give and go. It was a delicate ball from Lazinski. In the end, I think it's Griffiths who got the last touch on it. And Lewis got it to Woolley, who scooped clear. And South Hobart in possession now. Downs plays out on the right. Walter looks to race it down, and Griffiths wins the ball, and it's out for a South Hobart throw.
So Souths now with a spell and attack as we have a look at the replay. The free kick, and Sakiris just quickly taking it, but I don't know how that's allowed. South clearly are lining up the wall. The ref's talking to them. Pierce not anywhere near it, so yeah, a moment of controversy definitely avoided. That was certainly a strange one. In the end, Olympia wasting the free kick as they've got the ball here. His Wiltshire has been very lively. Plays in Lazinski, a nice 1-2 back to Walter. Back to Lazinski. What can he do on the edge of the area? He's got a few men surrounding him. He cuts it back. And his ball. Poor pass in the end from the substitute, but he'll get another crack at it, and again, he sells it short. That's poor on the edge of the area there. South's charging forward through Big Dogger Brown. We'll play it back to Kobe Kemp, who's certainly seeing a fair bit of the ball at the moment. And now a foul is called, and it is against South Hobart, despite the man down on the ground there, huddled over. I think he's all right. He doesn't look particularly great down there at the moment. There's Schmidt. So it's going to be Lewis now to launch forward for Olympia. He's had a very good game, Lewis. Both keepers, you've got to say, have been outstanding when tested. And he'll thump this one long. Neymar versus Ludford. Ludford heads away. Neymar with a nice little flick over the head, but Dogger Brown is there to clear. Ooh, getting in the back there, but the referee says play on. Neymar and Ludford again going at it, and Ludford just using his strength there, getting the body position on Neymar. And Pierce with a fine throw here. And now they'll reload down the right-hand side. Downs with the ball now, but won by Shea Hickey, who just shields the ball, and Lazinski comes flying in. And a bit of anger there. Lazinski getting up in the grill there of Isles, and he's given Isles a yellow card. Well, that's an interesting adjudication there. It was certainly offended Lazitsky, who got right up in his face of retaliation, but Luke Isles with the yellow card. And this game just starting to get a little bit testy, and well, Olympia have been given the free kick, and Isles has got the yellow card, so we'll just maybe see the replay. Now, I'm not entirely sure what the referee's seen there, but certainly a bit of fire in this contest all of a sudden. So Isles, he was clearly fouled there, and Lazitsky comes in with a pretty poor challenge. And that may be the softest yellow card I've seen in many a year, but here we go. Isles with the ball now. Here he goes, he cuts inside. Isles on the ball, plays it back. And nothing ball really well cleared in the end by Brown. His man takes it round one. Oh, Woolies, he's been fantastic today and he wins that duel, but he's turned it back over to Hunt. Sorry, Schmidt. Here now is Man charging down the left, but Woolies back and gives him the shoulder barge, and that is a foul. And I'll tell you what, it may be a home game here for South, but you would not tell, judging from the crowd here, who are most displeased at that one, but did appear to use the shoulder, you'd have to say there, Wooly. And South with another set-piece opportunity.
I'm still a bit flabbergasted by that Isles stuff. It was all very, very strange. A little bit of afters from Isles, but he couldn't have pushed over anything with that little effort he put on Albie. Yeah, strange, very strange. But a chance here for South Hobart to try and claim a lead. We tick into the 77th. As Brown goes down in the box, Hickey says to him, stand up. There's a lot of, Andrew Cooling remarks to me there's an awful lot of finger pointing going on here as mass confusion reigns. Copra goes to have a chat to his assistant. If this ends up in a penalty, it's a shocker. He's having a bit to say. Olympia fans just waiting bated breath. Ken Morton with a wry smile on the bench. What is going on? Copper in the end, struts back over. Let's watch his finger pointing here. Will the finger be pointing for the spot? Let's hope not. He'll look back for Brown. He just wanders on by. It's very, very quiet and just waves on. So after all that, absolutely nothing. He has given us tumbleweed as Copra. Delivered us absolute cheesels. As free kicks taken, punched away by Lewis and then helped acrobatically by Moons. Seen further by Wadawu, long and strong. Neymar looks to beat Downs in the air. It's won well by Ludford, who gets it down the left-hand side. Cut off by Woolley and out for a South Hobart throw. What a strange minute of action here. Copra obviously a bit bored and just finding ways to get involved as it's pumped forward by Downs and collected off his line by Lewis, who looked to propel Olympia forward. It's a foot race between Sekiris and Brown. No, it isn't, because it bounces too far for Sekiris and into the grateful arms of Kane Pearce, who rolls out for Schmidt.
Yeah, definitely a strange tone here with phantom yellow cards and random conferences before free kicks from the referees, but nothing doing. We're still locked at 1-1 here as we tick beyond 78 minutes, and just wondering if maybe we might see Ben Hamlet introduced here in a minute for Souths. No, Darcy Hall is warming up on the sideline, but certainly just feel like a substitute could be the last 10 minutes, could break this game open, because both teams look like they can create a goal, and that's surely handball against Wadawu. Not happy, but quite obviously there, and Hall appears to be going through the final processes, and he'll come on. We'll just see who's coming off for him as South look to steal this game. Both teams you could definitely see scoring a goal here. And it's going to be Chris Hunt coming off. He's been pretty quiet today, you have to say, Hunt. He's been well held by the Olympia defence. Maybe Darcy Hall will just provide the fresh legs that can find their way to snatching a winner here. Got 12 minutes to play here. It's 1-1. South Hobart with another set piece. They look to lob this one forward. They're just starting to get back on top here. It's been a cracking game of football here on Good Friday. Both teams, one win, one loss so far in this Victory League season. They know that an extra 2 points from this one could well be vital. Hall with an immediate impact, switches it out wide to Lewis, who's forward, and he's played a fantastic ball which almost found its way to Lazinski, but the tall frame of Alex Holmes is there to clear. South's really starting to press now. Here's Schmidt. He'll have the throw. Goes back. Substitutes combining, but Wadawa's forced to turn over here, and he'll now look to scythe inside, and his ball is well cut out again. Oh, that's good play, and he draws the foul. Well done there, young man. So Schmidt standing over the ball. It's a rather ordinary kick though, and Holmes will intercept that, and he plays it into the midfield towards Hickey. Man dropping out wide right now. What can he do? He runs at the defender. He's shown a willingness to do that. Bit of a shoulder in the back, but he kept his footing, which you'd like to see, so credit to Man. Now it's going to fall, and here he goes, and just a nothing effort really in the end. And can Olympia now produce something, because they're really on the back foot, and you just feel like it's South with all the momentum in this game.
Yeah, you're spot on. It's really shifted. It's swung the way of the home side as Lewis plays forward under the head of his namesake. Hickey bustles in, rises high, and in the end it's out of South and out for a Olympia throw-in, just crossing halfway for them. Throw from Griffiths straight to Brown. He gets it to Man, who is involved in a meaty challenge from Holmes. Olympia fans aren't happy, but he got a fair piece of Man as Man looked to turn it forward for South. So justified free kick there. As long as Copra doesn't give Man a slice of cheese for no reason, we're happy with that one, I reckon. He's played short from Brown to Downs. He's got a lot of time and space to just get things going. Plays across into the box, finds Man. He cuts inside. Got a couple to deal with. Plays back for Schmidt. Schmidt does well, holds it up, plays in. He's beaten a couple here, Schmidt. Looks to either play a pass to the front post or have a shot. Whatever it was, it didn't come off, and Olympia can race the other way.
Doesn't amount to anything though, and Schmidt takes back over, and they're really starting to get boxed in here, Olympia. South turning the screws. Can they find that game-winning goal? It's just kind of hack there. No one goes after it. Eventually it'll roll out of play, and Ludford will gather and wait for someone to present. Kemp making a move, but is declined. Eventually plays it in to Walter. Thumps it forward. Deflected ball though. Schmidt again. Walter dropping a little bit deeper now, with Darcy Hall coming on and pushing forward. And that's really amounts to nothing. Woolley will play back to right. He's been fantastic today, and he's turned it over there though. Talk about the moz on him as he's played it straight to Man. It doesn't matter though, as Olympia through Hickey, who plays the ball. Surging run from Sekiris, but Brown has done well. And we always get a touch up here in the Slice of Cheese commentary pavilion. Just Dogger Brown thumping one up to us here. Convincingly cleared, you'd have to say.
Very filthy. I didn't get a touch of that. My wingspan doesn't get there. As played from Moons to Wiles, who's pressured hard from Lewis. Griffiths across to Hickey. Hickey says, "Don't make it my problem." Gives it back to Wiles. Slips inside of Lewis. Gives to Mearns. Receives back. He's inside the box now. He's met by Lewis, and it's waved on. Cries for a penalty. Play goes on. Woolley wins it away from Man. No untoward contact, says Copra. Hall now on. Plays out on the right. Lazinski puts it back for Man at the top of the box. Vandermeer takes a tumble. In the end, he blocks it with his back. Woolley can see it clear to Hickey. He plays to Wadawu. Play ongoing here. Wadawu back for Hickey in midfield. Looks to switch it up and is cut off by Matt Lewis. And I got to say, I thought it was a good call from Copra. Not a lot in that challenge on Isles. I know a foul anywhere else should be a foul in the box, but it doesn't normally rain true, and I don't think you're given a spot kick for that effort.
Yeah, look, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Gilly. I think if that was in midfield, the ref would have blown without hesitation. In the box, yeah, probably went down a little easy. There was contact, certainly. Look, if he gives the penalty, you can't complain, but a good decision for me from the ref. As South Hobart pushing on here, looking to win his man playing in Lazinski. Well marshalled by 3 defenders. And they'll do just about enough to clear, and Olympia fans a bit on edge here at the moment. Not particularly pleased with the referee for that non-penalty, and then I thought there was a foul in the build-up at the other end. So have a look at the replay. It was a good play here. Lukey Isles comes in. I tell you what, second look, he's got a case there. He has got a case. He's taken the leg, and I reckon they've dodged a bullet there, actually, Souths. Here's Sekiris who tries the speculative volley chip. That would have been something very special. But in the end, doesn't trouble Pearce. And now it's Olympia pushing forward. A real seesawing game throughout, and so it is here in the final 10 minutes. We've got about 5 to play here. Can either team grab it? Here's a chance. Here's Mans. Here he goes, running into the box. He crosses the ball. Wadawu won't quite get there. It was a poor cross in the end from Mans. Wadawu gathers. Bit of ACDC cracking randomly. Wadawu plays it to no one. It's well cleared in the end by Hugh Ludford, who's been fantastic at the back all day. Very convincing display from the South Hobart skipper. That seemed like handball, but the ref has missed that one. And Neymar with the ball now out on the left. The fullback plays it in. And nothing really. Lewis will play it. Really not happy with the referee, you'd have to say. Just ignoring the handball that happened there, but only one eye on the game, I think, from a few of them. So Neymar and Hall fighting for the ball, and Hall emerges the winner in the end, and a substitute is being readied. And it is Hamlet who's going to be introduced in the 88th minutes. So can Hamilton produce something, Damien?
What's the time? What's the time, Drewster?
88th minute, I believe.
Hammer time. It's hammer time. 88th minute. 2 years ago when Olympia played South Hobart, I think it was 2-2, something like that. 88, this sort of territory. He bobs up, nods one away, and South Hobart collect the points. So is that going to be the case? There's the hammer gets involved. Look at him. Plays it to Albie. He puts it out on the left-hand side, finds man. He cuts in. Unfortunately, the linesman is a villain for man. Flag raised, and he's offside.
Yes, the official raised that time. Didn't call the early one on the goal, mind you. That said, don't have the greatest angle here, so won't be too harsh on that one. The Olympia fans certainly felt it was offside, but it was a great finish from man as we push on to the final couple of minutes here. Can someone just sneak it late? Here's Hickey. He's been fantastic throughout. Lewis duels with Isles, and he wins out in the end with some support from Hall. He'll thump it long to the head of Lazinski, but Holmes, who's been just towering at the back all day, won the header. And Olympia now, they're the ones who look to push on. Here's Woolley. It's a poor ball forward. Schmidt won it in the air. Then Ludford. It's just a bit of aerial ping pong here at the moment. And they're busting through his Mearns. That's some good play and a good ball, but it clipped the ankle of Sekiris. And now it's Souths who will thump it long as South Hobart look to attack here. It's a good ball looking for Lazinski. A great ball in the end from man. Lazinski now, well defended in the end. And what will the referee do? He blows for a foul, and now running across. No slice of cheese will be distributed. As the minutes tick by here, we're just about in the stoppage time and looking increasingly likely like the draw may just be the result here today.
See, about this time we usually start talking about the Walter Pless Media Award, but there's so much going on, it's a bit tricky. Drewy, just quickly, who would you have penciled in for the 3 now? I think it's not a clear-cut one myself.
Yeah, look, it's a tough one. I think both keepers can have claims to it. I think Shea Hickey's been fantastic. Man's been good, but for me, I think the most influential player has been Isles. I think he's been dangerous, but really, you can throw a blanket over 5 or 6 of them. It's been a very even contest. Perhaps we'll put the call out to our followers on Twitter for their suggestions, see who they like. But look, probably Kiki or Isles for me, but honestly there are 4 or 5 players out there who could win as a teasing ball is played in and very well dealt with by Ludford, throwing his body in the way and clearing the ball, and a foul is blown in the end as Pearce looks to move it along quickly. South's desperate to try and get this late chance here. Lazinski lost out to Holmes, but it falls to Hull. Lazinski again. Here is Hamlet. Lewis playing him in, but set him quite a task there, and the fullback able to play back to Lewis, the keeper, who certainly is another one who's been the top of his game today. Hickey goes in the air, no foul. Yes, there is now a belated offside call from the official. Who would you have as your 3 votes, Damien? It really is a tough task today, you'd have to say.
Yeah, just a quick tweet in from Paskey saying if you watch the replay, which we did, it's no ball from Lewis, and you're probably right. On second review, I thought live, it probably looked a little bit on the soft side, but anywhere else on the park, probably a foul. But on replay, it's probably just a foul and a penalty. So Olympia probably have every right to feel a little aggrieved as it's played from Holmes to Woolley. He's got the ball inside the box, picks it up. Oh, he's put it in the bottom left. Oh, my Lord. Woolley with a goal from nothing. Olympia, they've stolen one in out of time. Woolley with a run from defence. Olympia, the coaches on the ground, they go nuts. They go absolutely nuts, the Warriors faithful. Harry Woolley take a bow. What a goal. Olympia up and about. It was Harry Woolley that got running. He had a moment of fortune inside the box as the ball bobbled back to him, and then he took his shot and he took it well, put him into the bottom left, and Olympia take a lead. Surely Olympia at least take a point from this one from here. They can't. They should close it out. You'd think Olympia would be ticking to the 93rd, but South Hobart get going. Played from Hamlet down the line, looking for Hall. Chested out from Vandermeer. We might just try and get a replay as Ash, the cameraman, works crazily. Lewis throws. Long and strong off the head of Lazinski. Di Martino will just blast away, blaze it out of defence. Isles wins a header away from Hall for Moons, who tries to get it to Giris. Brown picks it up. Plays forward, blocked by Griffiths. Turned with a bit of a spin from Hickey. Isles on it now. Wins away from Lewis. 93rd minute now. As South Hobart look to try and snavel back an equaliser. Andrew Cooling.
Yeah, what drama here, and the crowd going absolutely ballistic. The Olympia players just mobbing Woolley after that goal, and why not? A sensational individual effort from Woolley. It really was just a moment of brilliance from him. And we're talking about best on players. He had a very good game before that. I think he's put himself firmly in the conversation there, and may just have won the game for Olympia. Everyone has to come forward, surely now for Souths. 94th minute. Here we go. One last roll of the dice for Souths. They've got the free kick here. Just about everyone forward. They've got 8 men in the box. It's a teasy ball. It went through a sea of legs, but no one could get on the end of it. Schmidt can't get there. And Downs plays it back to Pearce. He's just going to have to thump this long again. And he does. But offside. Offside flag is raised. Much to the disdain of the Southpaws. And that might just about be it. There's a quick thinking there from Lewis. He thumped it forward. It's Melly versus Pearce. He gets some separation from him. Pearce misses. He's got an open net. Make it back. Clear foul. Clear foul, that is. Sekiris. He did it all right. It's a second yellow card, and Connor Schmidt is off. Well, we did say that kicking away the ball earlier for the first yellow might come back to bite him. Indeed it has. And it's going to end in disaster here for South Hobart, it appears. And surely, Damien Gill, it is all over now. Olympia Warriors will take the chocolates here on this Good Friday game.
Wowee, this is amazing. Schmidt in the sheds, South Hobart You've got to say probably not getting a point from this one unless they can grab something very, very late. I would have thought this is close to the last kicking anger as we see the slice of tomato go up for Connor Schmidt. Nick Mearns over it. I'm not sure why Sekiris didn't shoot though. I was a bit perplexed by that. Mearns now. Oh! He closes it out! Olympia home and hose! Good night, Irene! Lights off! Olympia! They're taking 3 points from Darcy Street. Nick Mearns steps up and scores. Top right corner. Olympia reigns supreme. Final whistle to come, but it doesn't matter. The points are Olympia's. As it appears, the final whistle went in all that excitement. Olympia win this one. A thriller, and they've come home strong with a wet sail. Olympia 3 points. South Hobart, zippity-doo-dah. It's a big win for the Warriors. Something they haven't been able to do in the Victory League. They break new ground today. A good win from Glenn McNeil's men here at Darcy Street.
Well, what drama at the end. It really was a cracking game of football, and the last 5 minutes, just icing on the cake. And what a superb free kick that was from Mearns. He just stepped up, slotted a top corner, gave Pearce absolutely no chance. And you have to say, a deserved 3 points for Olympia. They were the better team. When South Hobart got it back to 1-1, they just started to get back on top. You thought, well, the second goal's coming. Olympia might have missed the chance, but credit to them. They dug deep. They found a second, and then a stunning third after the sending off of Connor Schmidt. It was a thrilling game of football here on Big Friday, and it's just a very happy Olympia crowd here. They certainly made some noise. The reaction when that free kick went in was deafening. A fine game from Olympia. Who gets the man of the match is the big question. I think there are some very genuine contenders. Hickey, Isles, Woolley, take your pick. Kane Pearce was great, but he's now conceded 3, so I think we're going to have to go between Hickey or Isles. We'll have to sort that one out, but the Olympia players themselves won't be too fussed about that. A big statement victory here from Olympia. They finally got one over South. They jumped to 6 points, and South Hobart, with just one from their first 3, falling off the pace early on. But the story here today is all about Olympia. What a victory that was.
I am cooked after that. I am absolutely cooked. I can't give you a definitive 3. We'll have to discuss that post-game. Head to sliceofcheese.net for all the fallout and coaches' interviews in the coming day, and we'll be awarding the Slice of Cheese stubby for best on ground. We'll see the goals. Here was the first one. Warren Waddell in the first half. A lot of chances for Olympia and South Hobart in the first half, but that was the one that mattered. He took his chance and put it into the top right. Here's Olympia's next goal. Woolley from a run from fullback, breezed by one in Ludford, and a nice shot into the bottom left, and it looked like it was lights out for South Hobart then. Olympia went wild, absolutely wild. But that wasn't even the final chapter, Andrew Cooley. As we see, we'll see it again. We got Woolley from another angle. It was a good goal from Harry Woolley. I liked his efforts from fullback. He might feature in the votes, I think. Something Olympia haven't done. As we'll see, that's all we've... here's the final goal. So Schmidt brought down Sekiris, who had beaten Kane Pearce, who was all at sea. Mearns very casually just steps up and slots it into the top right. There we go. All over Red Rover, and Olympia celebrate and take the 3 points back across the other side of the river. And now stay in check with ladder leaders Hobart Jeep Zebras.
Yeah, it was easy as you like that free kick, wasn't it? Just very casual last kick of the game. Yeah, no worries, boys. I got this. Just slots the free kick top corner. And really, icing on the cake of a very good performance from Olympia. In truth, it was a contest that at times looked like it could go either way, but I do think the better team has won. South look quite a dejected bunch out there at the moment. They've got some work to do. It's not been a particularly common occurrence that they've lost 2 out of their first 3 games in the season. I don't know when the last time that would have been, but South had to start like that. Morton's men with some soul searching to do here. beaten on home turf by the Olympia Warriors, who've produced a fine display to take it 3-1 in a drama-filled Good Friday here at Darcy Street.
That's all from us now from Darcy Street. Join the boys from up north tomorrow as Ladleys Hobart Jeep Zebras travel up to take on Northern Rangers at NTCA. It's been our pleasure bringing this one live to you from Darcy Street. Olympia leave with 3 points, and I'd expect some rather boisterous celebrations back at Warrior Park. South Hobart leave a bit soul-destroyed, but I'm sure they'll pick themselves up and be right there when the whips are cracking. Join us tomorrow, as I said, with Hobart Jeep Zebras versus Northern Rangers up at the NTCA. Follow all the action at sliceofcheese.net throughout the weekend, and have a very, very happy Easter. Bye for now.